I want to play in Europe. What the hell does that mean, right? Because Europe could be Latvia, Luxembourg.
No one's talking about Latvia or Luxembourg, dumbass.
So you don't want to just shove it in there. Start with a smaller finger, especially if this is the first time. Start with a smaller finger and go slow.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Honey, eating it is the best thing that you can do for your man.
I want people to realize I'm just human. I'm just human, and I make mistakes.
So this guy, Derek, wants to know, is putting your tongue in an ass really the thing to do?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, just, it's a weird one, I think.
And I know you want me to toss your salad too, don't you? All right, on that note.
What are you saying, bro? You are.
Stop, bro. Stop, bro. Help me and stop.
Welcome to Straight Red Card. Fumar already passing blunts in the chat. Good for you, my friend. Hopefully everybody gets lit up tonight. I do have the Pacers Knicks game on live in front of me. Yes, I'm a Pacers guy. I haven't really watched the team much up until this season. Like, I kind of quit watching.
I feel like you're an Indiana sports guy.
Yeah,
you want the team to do well, but you're not necessarily diehard following the Pacers every 175,000 games they play.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I stopped doing that. I used to watch a lot of their games back in the Reggie Miller days, that era, and then even a little after that. And I think, my parents were diehards too, and they quit watching for probably the last 10 years, and there wasn't really much to watch up until pretty recently. So if we can win this, we're going to the NBA Finals. But we're playing in New York.
I lost interest in the NBA completely when they just stopped playing defense.
Well, these guys are playing some defense, I'll say that, but it seems like the game's easier to score now. The guys are just that much better.
That goes into the point of the show, kind of, to an extent. Like, at that point, there was a stint there where the defense was just like, whatever, we'll score. Maybe they'll miss, I'll score again. And it lost me as a potential fan. I thought I was a huge NBA fan or just basketball fan in general, but kind of goes with this too, our topic today.
Yeah, no, there's some correlations there.
Franchise fans and how will U.S. men's national team regain them?
Right. Have you seen the promos for the new Superman movie?
I saw one on another live stream, and then I completely forgot what that commercial was about. They even brought up, they're like, hey, you want to see a new teaser for the Superman movie? He's like, yeah, and they played it. It was like 3/4 of the way through it, the commercial. He's like, this is a commercial. He goes, oh, yeah.
Is it? So. Okay, well, it's commercial, but it's like stuff from the movie, right? Because at one point, they have two armies coming at each other, modern armies with tanks and weapons, and they look like they're rushing at each other, and they're 100 yards apart. That is not how modern warfare works. So I hope they fix that. I hope that's not a real scene from the movie, because that seems pretty ridiculous. Also, I've never really thought about this, but the Asian or probably Indian, I'm not sure, woman in the lead up to the show, where she says sometimes use the smaller finger, start with a smaller finger.
Yeah.
So you're going to start with your pinky?
Sure, why not?
Because most of your other fingers are about the same size. If you look at these three, they're all about the same size.
Fair enough.
Only one
that's... I guess length is the only difference, right?
Yeah, and then my pinky is much smaller. I get it. The thumb might be
she's just saying don't go in with the thumb.
Well, who goes in with a thumb?
I don't know. She's just saying.
Nobody goes in with a thumb. Jesus. They don't call it foreplay.
Practice your hitchhiking?
They don't call it foreplay because I used my thumb. It's 5. All 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, it's a little odd. It's like, baby, don't worry. I'm going to start with my pinky. Don't worry, baby. All right. Anyhow, there's that. And then the other worst way to die execution I saw in research today popped up, so I watched it. Death by sawing. Death by sawing. This is when
there's a big like lumber saw blade and you get split in half.
2 guys. They flip you upside down and they start at your crotch. and
yeah,
saw
yeah.
you.
You'd have to, because if you did with your head, it'd be over like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
you'd still feel it. It would suck.
Oh,
but
my
if
God.
you did it going through the crotch, you'd feel it all the way up.
These medieval drawings of it, I know they're drawings, so it's not real, but just looking at it, you're like, holy fuck.
You get the idea, though.
How could you be one of the blade dudes? Like, as soon as you did one blade, you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. This guy's screaming way too loud. I can't deal. I mean, I don't
back
know.
in the day, most likely you're going to be doing that against somebody who you're either invading or is invading you, and it's like, oh, fuck that Frenchie, I'm just going to saw him in half. And you didn't have, you didn't really care. There was some like, country you didn't care about. It's not like you're taking Joe Schmo off the streets and sawing him in half. I mean, if you're going to take Joe Schmo off the streets, you're going to be doing that, and you're just going to be hanging him by his thumbs or something like that.
It just seems so horrible that they used to do these things. Although, when you watch some of the Mexican cartel videos, and I haven't watched them for years, where they're like sawing dudes' arms off before they saw his head off, you're like, okay, this is just too gruesome. I can't do it. I can't stomach it.
Still think one of the worst ways is being impaled.
Yeah, we talked about that the other time.
Yeah.
That was just
before I should get off this topic, otherwise it won't be monetized.
yeah. Did want to mention that Bonnie Blue, she was the gal who tried to break the record and slept with
1,000 dicks in a night.
Yeah, in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So the girl's record who she broke is now going to do 1,000 guys in 12 hours in the butt. She's going to one up her, I guess. I guess so. I mean, I just don't think these rules are fair, because it seems to me you're sticking it in, taking 2 pumps, and you're out. I don't know. To me, that's too easy.
Unless the guy happens to be a 2-pump chump, you never know.
But no, I mean, as far as I understand it, none of them came to fruition. So is that really, that's just like, how fast can people penetrate me and pull out and the next guy get in? That's a different total record. That's not really sex. That's like a physical act record. That's how fast we move.
I'd be curious to find out how in depth they go into making sure everybody's clean and whatnot. I mean, I know in the industry itself, they're pretty vigilant with that. But I feel like if you're doing 1,000 dudes in 12 hours, you're probably not nearly as up to date with your records.
I'm sure they plan it. They plan it, right? And you have to take the test. Although she was arrested for that.
Yeah, well, she was arrested recently. The Bonnie Blue was arrested at a Chelsea match because she has a lifetime ban at a Chelsea match.
But I thought she was arrested for the sex act because she was unregistered, not registered with the porn industry in England. I might be wrong, but
that I don't know. I thought she got arrested because she was at a Chelsea match when she had a lifetime ban.
Yeah. Just remember, I guess it's always the thing that, like, it's not prostitution if you're filming it, right? Then it's a movie. It's pornography. So, I don't know why she got arrested. All right, that's all I got tonight. Just updates on Bonnie Blue and, of course, the smaller finger thing, I think, was kind of something I just thought of right now. But go ahead.
So Bonnie Blue's I'm just staying on that topic real quick. She's the UK porn star, right?
I thought so.
I'm spacing Lillian Phillips. Maybe is that the Australian chick? I think
could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, she was going about spring breaks and taking videos with other people's phones and sending the videos to the sender's mom. Saying, "Don't worry, I'm gonna keep, close eye on your son tonight." Stuff like that.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Oh, by the way, and people just, I'm watching Jimmy's show, and it's a little frustrating. At least Tony filled them in on some of the things, like Jimmy sort of started the show like, oh, well, Jedi's not going to be there. And then, Tony's like, yeah, but he's injured. And it's like, I sometimes feel like Tony is the only guy that actually does in-depth research about each player. He does
this right here. He's got this right here. He's got the finger on the pulse.
I guess
he's always gauging it. Yeah, I think it's Tony's job. I mean, Tony does coverage, so he has to keep tabs on shit.
Right. Well, I'm just thinking that if you're going to criticize somebody for not coming, you should know why they're not coming. We told you a week ago.
Bonnie's been saying that all year, hasn't she?
Right. We told you a week ago that as soon as the season was over, the Jedi was having surgery, which was announced today on Twitter. But that was something I thought everybody knew, but apparently they did not know that. And so, I'm trying to remember if even the discussion by Landon and by Timmy Howard, if they knew that, because they seem to be kind of, not sure why Jedi wasn't showing up either, except for having sort of this long-term injury. Well, he had surgery. He literally had surgery right after the season was over. And
I guess to defend the people we didn't mention as those who have the pulse, the finger to the pulse and everything like that. Those same guys. I mean, I think Tony, one of the upcoming, or I think it was a Nations League roster or 60-man roster, or the 26 actually. They talked about when somebody went out injured, like, oh, we should bring in Haji Wright. We should bring in Haji Wright. Everybody said it.
Yeah,
he wasn't on the 60-man roster.
Right.
So I mean, I feel like there's a lot of information out there, and sometimes you just miss it.
It's their job, though.
So
they're getting paid.
I know, but they miss other things too.
I know. I'm surprised.
I mean, they all can't be us, Derek. I mean, come on.
I'm just surprised sometimes what they miss. And then they've got this bigger voice, theoretically, and they should know this. A guy that doesn't make those kind of mistakes on a regular, because I think he does keep informed, would be Lawless. And it might be because of his sidekick. I don't know what, but
Mossy is an encyclopedia of knowledge.
Well, and Mossy keeps up to date on everything. So I think maybe that's a big help for that show. But you rarely see them make that kind of error.
I mean, with Lawless, you might disagree with his take. And I think Winaldo's in the same boat too. You sit there and you can disagree with what they're saying. But yeah, I think Lawless and Winaldo are two guys out there that generally don't get anything really wrong. I mean, their opinions you might not like, but they're at least up to date with everything.
Typically, I mean, there have been a few things over the years.
Derek, what have we really gotten wrong?
I mean, there's some obscure shit we don't know sometimes, or it's like something about Barcelona I should know that I don't know because I despise the big teams.
Actually, I could care less.
Yeah, if it doesn't have to do with my teams, I could care less about Barcelona. I know who Lamal is, right? I mean, we all know because he's so fucking great. But other than that, I don't regularly watch Barcelona games. I have too many other games to watch. Period. All right. What else we got?
That's fair. Untouchables.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I still know his last name's Downs.
Kevin Lund, right? Kevin
Lund. I think that's.
We haven't done it recently, but you used to always mix up McKenzie and McKinney.
Yeah, but those are all old people things, right? It's not because I don't know it. It's because it's just pooping out of my mouth, and I'm old and forgetful. So I think, anyhow, guys got on me for not knowing one of the Barcelona players once, not knowing him that well. Well, sorry, I don't watch Barcelona. Honestly, I don't.
Colin wants to know if we want to be on the Luna haters list.
What?
Nah, I don't know. I've been pro Luna since the U20 days.
Yeah, no, we've always loved Diego Luna. Now, we just didn't think he'd get a shot at the World.
I said at Nations League, I said it's very possible he might get included. You're like, nope.
I didn't think it would.
You were taking kind of a realistic approach to it.
Yes. I thought you had to go abroad now to be on the U.S. men's national team. That's what it seemed like at the time.
Definitely not the Gold Cup roster.
Not anymore. Like that rule's been broken. You don't have to go abroad now to play on the U.S. men's national team. So
I'll just wanted to check. He's like he's making that list, checking it twice, guys. Now we you can go back to the U20, U23 qualifiers that got us into the Olympics and everything like that.
Oh yeah,
and it was, and hindsight's always 20/20. I can sit here and say, like, back then, I was sitting there going, like, you and I were both going, geez, Quinn Sullivan, not that great. He's not that great. The bright side, bright sided players here. We got Diego Luna, we got Paxton Aronson, and we had not Daniel Craig. What was Craig's name? Something Craig.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The center back. The center back that's lacing those like 40, 50 yard, bombs, every single time.
Right.
Man, how he fell short is beyond me. I don't know how that happened.
I mean, he has a rocket for a foot. The other thing is Diego Luna when he didn't make
Daniel Craig, is it? Because I mean, I was thinking that, but that's the actor.
It's the actor.
Is it Brandon Craig?
Brandon Craig. Yeah, that sounds more American.
Yeah.
Everybody names their kid Brandon. I was thinking when he didn't make the Olympic team, how fucking stupid that was. I think we both said it at the time that when Luna did not make the Olympic team.
Yeah. 100%.
We're like, what the hell is going on? How does he not make this team?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been there a long time. I mean, he's not been a major focus, and that's because he wasn't getting called up for a long time, and there were fewer and fewer and fewer MLS players on every roster. And now Greg's gone. And now we got Poach, and we didn't know what to expect from Poach, but I guess the new answer is 16 MLS players on this roster.
This is the shake-up window, right? This is the, hey, get your guys' asses in gear.
Well,
I'm happy to call up anybody who puts in 100% effort.
Who did he send a message to? That's my question, Brett. Who's the message to? The message is
Sargent, Tessman, Gio.
Okay,
well,
Sargent.
Gio can't be included, but
Gio's not part of the message. Gio's with Dortmund. Sargent is the only message I can think of. Who else? Who else is it sending a message to? Because is it sending a message to Tolkien? I don't think so. I think you just basically are saying I didn't pay any attention to Tolkien.
Well, yeah. And Tolkien has Tolkien been called up at all by Poach? I don't think so. What kind of message are you saying to Paxton Aronson? You're not good enough? I mean, is that the message? I was talking about something with this on Twitter today. Actually, it's like I when we mentioned this too, I'm like, I really don't know if he actually knows who Paxton Aronson is.
I don't know if he does.
How do you go through that entire season and not call him up once?
Is he really sending a message to Scally, who he seemed to very much favor? Not too long ago.
Likes playing golf, man. Sargent likes playing golf. It happens.
What kind of message are you sending to Caleb Wiley? I don't think he is sending a message to Caleb Wiley. You can't send a message to the guys that maybe you want to. Maybe that's McKenny.
Call up to? Yeah, I agree.
McKenny's with Juventus. Weah's with Juventus. Who's this message to? I don't understand who the message is directed at. And Aiden Morris? What, you're going to punish Aiden Morris for having a really good season?
Well, let's really think about who wasn't included from the Nations League now. Sargent and Tessman come to mind.
Those two, maybe.
And of the people who were at that camp and are not included in this camp, who also didn't go out for personal or injury reasons.
Yeah, because Musa went out himself.
Come to mind. Yeah.
But those Musa are the only two guys.
Out.
Well,
McKinney.
It's not a message to Pulisic or Musa because they're out on their own volition. It's not a message to Jedi. He just had surgery. So your message is to Sargent and Tessman. That's weird. That's a very small.
Gear, guys.
That's a small number of people to have a message for. I guess I don't know if it's a message. Honestly, I don't.
I've always seen Aiden as a box-to-box / defensive midfielder. Colin's asking, isn't Morris really an attacking midfielder, despite playing defensive midfielder? He's a box-to-box, isn't he? He's a box-to-box defender, like an actual true double pivot without a true 6, right?
Right. I mean, for Middlesbrough, he is. a holding / distributing midfielder. He's definitely not an attacking one, though. Definitely
How
not.
did he play at Columbus? I can't remember. Was he
Same
box?
way.
Box
To box, yeah.
I mean, I don't recall. I really don't recall him. I mean, I recall him at Columbus. Don't get me wrong. I just don't recall. I don't watch Columbus every week.
Box to box 8, kind of like a 6.5. I don't know, but not a 6. I think gets a little more freedom, even with Middlesbrough.
He's not a Maloney. He's not a Adams.
Right. He's not a 6 destroyer. He's not a holding midfielder.
He's a Cardoso light or Weston light.
Something like that. So
to an extent, kind of.
So anyhow,
a poor man. That's what I would say. Poor man. Weston.
All these people that are saying Poach is sending a message. Well, maybe he did send a message about golf and hanging out with your friends and having dinner with your family and all that, and that's all got to go. Maybe that's what Tessman did. Maybe that's what Sargent did. While he was here, his family showed up and they had dinner, and maybe Tessman went out golfing with with Pulisic. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know what really happened, so we don't know who that message is directed to. All we know is the consequence of it is the 2 footballing decisions that he made were, no, Tessman, we don't want you, and no Scally, we don't need you, and no Sargent, we don't need you. And instead, I'm bringing 3 MLS
those
guys.
are the 3 big, right? And you mentioned Scally, you're right, yeah.
Scally golfs too with Pulisic. So,
yeah,
maybe he didn't like the Scally golfing thing. It's just hard to say. Scally, of course, being pretty good friends with Reyna, and who else is he close with? And maybe Reyna went golfing too. I don't know. I have no idea.
We can't include Reyna here because he was he's with Dortmund.
Right. No, I agree. But maybe he went out golfing with Reyna. I don't know.
No, 100% guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
GT says golf gate. I think we started a new gate here, guys. I
don't think the guys having dinner with their families after practices should be a major problem.
Well, no, that's the thing, right? They're not when they're in camp. They're not practicing, 24/7. Like they're not out there practicing 3 hours, eat lunch, 3 hours, eat dinner, 3 hours, and then go to bed. They're not in. After they practice, they're not going back to the rooms and studying footage and stuff like that. There's gonna be some downtime, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some down. You want them to lock themselves in their hotel rooms and diddle themselves? I'm not sure what they're supposed to do after they put all those hard hours. Clear your mind
before you play that game, Derek. Come on.
I mean, it would be a surprise to me, and I'll have to talk to one of my Sargent connections if Sargent's family flew in and they had dinner with him. But I mean, to say that performance was the performance that should disclude him from ever being called up again.
We're gonna bring this up again. Yeah, I mean,
I don't really want to.
We've talked about his performance ad nauseum. I don't want to bring it back up because it's gonna spark the same conversation in the chat again.
Yeah, I get it. You get one shot, you hit the post, you score a goal that's taken back as offsides, and now you don't ever get to play again. We're gonna use Aguiman and Brian White. Sorry.
Fine the rest of the game though. That's a problem.
Huh?
Yeah, he's fine the rest of the game. No, I don't want to do this.
Well, I know we say that.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry, Brett.
Situation.
All these other guys are saying, "Well, he got a shot and he blew it," and I think, did he really blow it? I think the whole team blew it.
No, he didn't.
I mean, if he got close to scoring,
no. Tell me one opportunity he legit blew. One opportunity he blew.
I don't know, and he didn't touch the ball
air
much.
Passes, bad traps. That shit happens to every single player on the fucking pitch.
And then
tell me one clear-cut opportunity he fucking blew in that window.
TT's saying 5 years of not scoring. I don't know that. This is his first look from Poach, though. Poach doesn't care about 4 years before that.
He's had a couple windows, and yes, there was a Panama and Mexico match, a window where he missed a wide open opportunity. A chance, and we called him out. We were doing a live stream of that show.
Yeah,
we called him out. Said, "Dude, you have to put that away." And 9 times out of 10, he would have put that away.
Yep.
And in the very next game, he ghosted. But then again, everybody ghosted against Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That game sucked around the board. I'm not
Yeah.
using that as an excuse. That was a bad game for Sargent. But all the other games, everybody's how. You got me going.
I'm just saying.
Untouchable's knows. Untouchable knew. He knew he was going to wind me up.
I guess we're just going to give up on him. I guess that's what it sounds like. So, all right, that's fine. I'm willing to move on. If they're going to move on, I guess I got to emotionally move on from a guy who I thought had a really good season this year because I watched most of the game, but I think I watched them all actually that he played in.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
All right. And we've discussed the problem. Taking the gold drought out of the equation because we all can acknowledge it.
Yes.
Taking the gold drought out of the equation. Derek, I think you hit the nail on the head when you say when he comes to U.S. men's national team, he's kind of a pussy.
Yes.
He's not demanding the ball.
Right.
He needs his Norwich game with the U.S. men's national team. And at that point, I think we'll start seeing performances. But until that happens.
I mean, he literally did an interview before coming over from the last window and said, well, it's tough for me when I go to the U.S. men's national team. I'm at Norwich. I'm kind of the guy. When I go there, I'm not the guy. No, you become the guy. You don't leave that mentality in Norwich when you come play for the U.S. men's national team. You take that I'm the guy thing with you. And you take it to practice and you let people know, I want the fucking ball. And if you don't pass it to me, I'm going to let you know I was open. And that's what he does at Norwich. Here, that's the attitude you got to take to the U.S. men's national team. I don't understand that interview. Blew my mind. It blew my mind. And I knew immediately when he said he was nervous because he knew he said, I have to perform. So I'm a little nervous. Because I'm the guy at Norwich, but the U.S. men's national team, I'm not really the guy. Well, become the guy. So he did it to himself in many ways. That's just shitty mentality.
I agree. As much as I defend the guy, that was the wrong mentality going into a camp.
Yeah,
any camp.
Yep.
I know that 5 years of not scoring is going on 6 years now. It's weighing down on him. Absolutely, 100%.
Yes,
man,
he brought that up too.
Man, the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
We need less nice guys.
I agree here too. Sargent has service issues. They're not playing him the ball. I can tell you, watching the games, there's a number of times where I see Sargent peeling off, making the run. That if it was Norwich, they're playing him the ball.
Yes,
but with the U.S. men's national team, it's not happening. And that's
not looking for him. They're looking for Pulisic.
Man the fuck up. Grow a sack. Demand that shit.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Go find a little Ibrahimovic and get it in your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's easier said than done because we got a lot of softies on our team. We got Pulisic, who doesn't want the limelight, doesn't want to be a star, which he just literally said on the new season that I just watched, that he doesn't have the confidence and the ego that some of the big players have, and it's something he needs to work on. I don't know if you can work on that. That's something you got or you don't. I mean, maybe you can work on it. I don't know. I guess I've always been kind of one of those guys like, hey, like you always say about yourself, give me the fucking ball. I was that guy. I was that guy too. And either you're born with some of that or you're not. Either you're an outspoken jackass or you're not. And when I say jackass, I mean that in the nicest way, because that's the kind of swagger you got to bring. Got to bring it. And we got nice guys. All right. We got a lot of nice guys.
My teammates are so nice to give me the ball all the time, but they kept playing it 20 yards ahead of me, and I had to chase that shit down. I had to get on their cases. I'm like, guys, play me the fucking ball.
Just to my feet.
Play to my feet. I don't want to have to chase it 20 yards every single fucking time I run.
Yeah. They're just booting it. And Brett, go chase it. No, just kick it to me, and I will dribble it. Thank you. All right. Anyhow, sorry we got on that.
Speaking of booting it, a nice little video for us. When Aldo posted this, and he didn't post this, he quote tweeted. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
And it said he's like, I watched this like 20 times and I keep laughing at it. So here we are.
I didn't watch it.
Yep, we're gonna watch it now.
Okay.
ain't gonna stop us now.
Bam! I don't understand why Eric didn't Eric say you watched that like 5 or 6 times?
Yeah, like 20 times he said, boom.
Bam!
Boom. Ain't nobody.
Hits the megaphone guy directly in the back of the head. This is just too perfect. All right. That's good. Okay. What else we got?
Oh, man.
Oh, for the 206 of you already here, which is great. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandma and your stepsister. All right.
All right. Derek, I'm going to apologize. This MLS segment, it has all to do with LA Galaxy.
Oh, my God. They're so bad.
All right. We got learning shapes. We got the pentagon. We got the hexagon. We got the octagon, and we got the season
gone. So true. You know, and I was looking at it outside of Puig, who we're missing. I mean, the team looks somewhat similar. We lost We lost Delgado. Okay. Why are we this bad, though? We are like demonstrably worse than we were last season. And okay, yeah, we're missing a few guys. Can we really go from the best team to the worst? Good God.
Down here, we all float. So come on down.
Well, so I'm watching MLS last night on the Apple, TV thing. Okay. I had the option of either watching LA Galaxy or Vancouver game was on too. And I knew LA Galaxy were going to find a way to lose. So you know what I picked? I picked to watch Vancouver instead.
You opted to watch a team that's not yours over the team that is yours because you knew the result. I get you.
And then, of course, I watched the highlights. They lost 1-0, and they missed a total sitter, 2 total sitters in the game, and they should have probably either tied the game or won it. But the dude was literally 4 feet from the goal, smashing a header in, and somehow Edwards makes this amazing save. One-handed save. I mean, it was an incredible save, but that's where they're at now as far as their luck goes as well. Like, that's a goal 99 out of 100 times. How that was saved, I'll still never know. But, yeah, I enjoyed watching Vancouver because I'm watching 2 guys who are going to be on the U.S. men's national team as well, Berhalter and White, who continue to play extremely well. So,
yeah, you did that for business purposes, not necessarily because you wanted to watch Vancouver, but you were like, you know what, I probably should watch this because we're going to be talking about the players here shortly.
Right, and the games are on late at night, and I'm still up, so why not?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there it is. Oop, there it is. Sorry, I was pulling something else up. While we're on the topic of LA Galaxy.
Jesus.
San Jose Earthquake says can't spell LA without an L.
Last place.
He's saying, hey, we're in last place.
Not to mention you got this guy on your team. What is he contributing? Jesus.
Oh man.
You're asking him to contribute more this season because you're missing your best player. But what's he doing? Anyhow.
Saying LA sucks.
Got a lot of the words gay flowing around the chat here today. And I know you all mean that as in the word happy.
Happy.
All gay apparel. La, da, 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 da. All right.
Speaking of people being happy, you know who else is going to be happy is Christian Pulisic. You know why?
He didn't have to come
after he's done resting and recovering from his injury this summer.
In Malaga somewhere.
He gets to have Allegri as a coach.
Yeah, I know.
Man, Allegri gets around, man. He is just all over Syria, isn't he?
It's just hard to believe. Yeah, it's going to be soccer terrorism. Football.
A lot of people are like, oh, Pulisic's going to... Oh, Pulisic right back. Here we go.
Get ready to play with 3 in the back and wingers.
Oh, man.
That means you got to take one of the other offensive players off. So maybe he's the guy that goes off. Who knows? I don't know.
It's like what a history the guy has and everything like that. But man, just of recent, having watched him over at Juve for a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Harrison Table Tennis says, Derek, you remind me so much of the main singer in Creedence Clearwater Revival. Really, CCR? I've never been compared to Dan Fogerty before. He's a lot older than me, so maybe I hope the comparison isn't that we look about the same age. He's got like 20 years on me. All right. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right.
I think. I think.
All right. We're going to branch into a segment of youth national team. We talked about the U17's World Cup last episode, I believe. We talked about how many Oceanic teams are included and stuff like that. Remember this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get in that in just a second. We already talked about that, but we're gonna bring it back up here in just a little bit. But first, I want to start with the US U15s. They're down playing Argentina, and we beat Argentina 4-2.
That's
but
nice.
We also played them today, and we lost them 2-1. So, okay. Not bad. I mean, not a bad little window here for them. The U15s getting some good experience.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
we talked about the U17 squad, so I'm not going to pull them up and take a look at that or anything. So I'm going to pull up the U18 squad here. Let me pull up a new tab so I can zoom in here.
Okay.
See, that's way too far.
All right.
Okay. Let's see if we know any of these guys. I mean, it should all predominantly be MLS based, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably. I don't know any of these dudes. Let me see. No.
You know Dills?
I like those pickles on my sandwich.
I love those pickles. Those pickles are great, man.
But I don't know him. No. I would imagine if he's there already and he's a U15, 17?
It's a U18.
Oh, okay. I
have
have not
16, 17 age.
I have not seen his name pop up throughout the season when I do occasionally check on the youth teams, but have not seen that name. That doesn't mean he's not there or not playing. It means
clearly he's there.
I didn't catch it, and I no longer have my list that I keep. So, let's see. Clapija. That sounds like a venereal disease. I do know that guy. Dino Clapija.
Dino. We need a Dino on the team.
I mean, there are a couple guys from overseas here. So
yeah, but like I said, it's predominantly going to be academy-based kids.
Right, because for the most part, you can't go to Europe unless you got a passport until you're 18. So
true story.
That's, I think, something that Herc missed on Tax Show the other day. He's like, yeah, you go over when you're 16. No, you can't unless you have a passport or you got a grandma or something.
Like the U18s are going to go to Europe and play in the UEFA Friendship Cup.
Yeah, I don't like these names.
Pretty lame name there, guys.
Friendship. Okay. Great. They're all going to sing Kumbaya before each game together.
Yeah, exactly.
The two opponents.
So here we have the U19 squad.
Okay.
And this is all leading into something. I'm not just bringing this up for bringing up sake here and everything. So
all right, I know a lot more.
U19 squad.
I know a lot more of these kids. Duran Faree, I know. I haven't seen him ever play, but I know he's in Denmark. And then I think maybe you've talked about Andrew Rick on this show, so I've heard of him.
Yeah, we talked about him a couple of times because he's the young kid at Union playing, right? He's got a couple games under his belt.
Yeah,
but I mean, is he? Why would he be called into a U19 squad? If that's good. Here's the reason why I'm bringing all these up.
Mm-hmm.
The U17, U20 World Cup coming up here very shortly. And the upcoming window is like the last U20 window before they make the roster announcement for the U20 World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So you would imagine that some of these players that we might be seeing on this U19 squad would have been included in the U20 squad. That hasn't been announced yet. I don't know.
We'll
see. We'll see what happens.
It's kind of odd calling up Freddie Anderson from Cork City. But what do I know? I don't know much about Irish soccer. If you keep scrolling down,
we got a lot of kids at Frankfurt, man. Second one.
Yes, Aiden Harangi, we obviously know on this show, so good for him. I just don't know any of these kids. I do not watch Next Pro. Sorry, so I don't know any of the MLS.
They're definitely more educated people on these rosters than us, by all means.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not trying to display a knowledge I don't have here.
No.
This roster is pretty good, guys.
If it comes to MLS Next Pro kids, I'm not going to know who they are. For the most part, I know a handful of the big ones, but not. If we keep scrolling down, let's see if they brought the guy from Liverpool.
Figueroa, I think. Yeah, Figueroa.
Okay. So they brought K-Roll, who's had a rough season, honestly, moving up the next step in the youth program there. Didn't score a whole lot of goals.
I recognize David, but
I
don't know. I haven't watched him play or anything. I just recognize the name.
I wonder if he's related to the other Vasquez.
But, you know, I guess, could be.
I like some of these names, though. Xavier Gozo. What a name for a player. I like that name. Xavier Gozo. What a great name. All right. Ruben Ramos. I like the way that.
The villain from the first Ghostbusters movie.
Xavier Gozo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like Kaiser Sose. All right. What else we got?
Sorry. So we talked about the U17 World Cup group last show. And we talked about how big of a joke it was and that U.S. should be qualifying for it. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Czech Republic might be, contending there. But we should be one of the top two spots.
Whereas they're now called Czechia. Which countries quit changing their names, please?
I know, right? Unless there's some kind of like political overthrow. Just keep your name, guys.
Czech Republic worked just fine.
Yeah.
All right. What are we doing here?
But we brought this up because I wanted to compare it to the U20 World Cup group that we're in and see how we're faring.
All right. Oh my God!
New Caledonia. New Caledonia is in both the U17s and the U20s.
That's because they all
get 48 squads.
They get 3 teams. Oceania gets 3 teams, which is frankly criminal. Because outside of New Zealand, they're going to get smashed. They're going to get crushed by France and the United States and even South Africa. If they finish with better than a -20 in goal difference, I'll be shocked.
New Caledonia has half their flag is the France flag.
They're
that's cool.
Past French settlement. Yeah, so that they're going to get wiped off the field. And I'm sorry, but at some point, like for our tournaments here in CONCACAF, some of them, there's what's called the Central American Championship. There's a Caribbean Championship. And the winner of those get to try to qualify into the qualifying for the World Cup, right? But they have their little tournaments first. Sure. Well, so should Oceania. And the couple winners from that should then have to go play in Asia to see if they qualify. Because gifting them 3 is just ridiculous. It's a waste of 2 spots for sure.
I was going to say that's a little silly in the sense that there are other countries anywhere around the world that'd be more viable that aren't making it because they're playing in harder federations.
Yeah, and if you think that this is going to make New Caledonia better going forward, you got another thing coming.
And I'll say the same thing about CONCACAF. There's like no reason why we should have like 5 or 6 teams in these competitions.
Yeah.
There are teams in Europe going, geez, man, if only we were in the Americas, man, we'd be qualifying every year.
Yeah.
So,
like move to. I think Greenland should move to Oceania once they get their team together. They got a shot. They got a shot at qualifying.
Greenland, Oceania.
Move to Oceania.
Dude, that would be. They'd bankrupt themselves just flying to the games.
There. I get it.
To the games, dude.
I know
You'd be like, hey, you guys are our national team, and we're gonna station you in this country over in Oceania. You like the insert random island nation here. We got a house for you guys.
Well, if you got the globe right, you got Greenland on top of the globe, right, and then you roll the globe towards you and look, you'll notice they just got a straight trip downwards to get into Oceania. So
got to fly over,
it's got to go south, baby.
Gotta fly over the pole, baby.
Yep. Oh yeah, you would have to fly over the pole.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyhow, it's a joke.
Chilly.
I don't understand what FIFA are doing here. This is not going to help New Caledonia to be wiped out and have a minus 21 goal difference. And mark our words, that is what is going to happen. And okay, so maybe they do get a little better and they qualify 4 years from now and they only have a minus 17 goal difference. You're still getting your ass kicked.
But I mean, the argument there also is that New Zealand is also qualifying for the U17s, U20s as well.
Every year.
So they're getting just as good as New Caledonia. You might make it a little more challenging for them to compete. And maybe there might be an off year where they get usurped. I don't know. But as far as the competition, I mean, you're just I mean, hopefully.
What was the other one?
You're just gifting it.
Fiji in the U17s?
For the 17s? Yeah, it's Fiji, yeah.
They're going to get destroyed. It's going to be really embarrassing. All right.
So, yeah.
Caledonia is the old name for Scotland. Yes, there's a team called the Caledonian. I can't remember. I think it's like 3 divisions down.
Yeah. So we just spent the last couple of minutes really bagging on our group and saying, geez, we better fucking qualify to the knockout stages.
Yeah.
These are pretty easy groups. However, Mexico's kind of getting the shaft, man.
Well, hold on. We do have to play South Africa and France. Those are not – well, we'll probably lose to France. And, South Africa's going to give us a battle. So, not that easy. Oh, my God.
I mean, it's yeah, no, seriously. It's a U20 squad, so we should have plenty of professionals that are playing, and they should be able to compete. But, yeah, going to the Mexico groups, they kind of got screwed.
Yeah, they have a really good chance.
How is it possible? How's it possible in the same World Cup that we saw our group that Mexico has this shit?
I mean, I'm not worried about them losing. Go ahead and lose, but...
Oh, no, I don't either. I don't care if they lose. I'm just saying there's definitely some discrepancies here.
I mean, it's possible they finish last in both of these groups.
100%, yes. Well, 100% I agree with you that it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's just, God, good Lord.
Yeah, they got screwed. All right, for the 256 of you here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with Grandma, and thanks for joining us on a Thursday night. We'll check on the Pacer score for you Pacer fans here in a second if you don't have it up. Everybody's wondering what I smoke. It's Lucky Strikes, Gold 100s. That's what I smoke.
So why? Who was it? Who keeps saying I'm doing that? Somebody keeps saying that I'm the Lucky Stripes smoker.
You don't smoke.
I don't smoke, first off, yeah.
And I mostly only smoke on the show. So, I don't know. It's a bad habit. I like to smoke when I drink. And I drink on the show. So, there you go.
There you go. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yes, I am still drinking 3 Philosophers. I bought a case. I just bought the case. Because I got one case in Big Red. And I said, it's mine. I'm taking the whole thing. Give me a discount for buying the whole case. So 3 Philosophers, one of the best domestic quads you can buy, Belgian-style quads, a blend of a quadruple ale and Creek ale with cherries. The cherries are very subtle. Otherwise, it's got a very chocolate, lots of malt and chocolate notes, and bubblegum, kind of a bubblegum thing here in the background, like the kind of bubblegum you would get in baseball cards. Very tasty. Very, very tasty. That's the kind of
flavor I would
sugar.
associate. It's not a flavor I would associate with a beer that I would want.
No. I'm talking about the sugar profile. It's
Hey, you
more
remember
like
that? You remember that rock hard gum that you get in the back of baseball cards?
Not the
That's
gum.
what it tastes like.
The dusty sugar on the pieces, right?
Yeah.
That was good. And once you got past that shit was nasty, right? As soon as the sugars on the outside of your baseball card candy gum was gone, it was disgusting gum. So there you go. Omagong is the yes, there we go. Brian says, hell yeah, Derek. Omagong has great Belgians. Unfortunately, they tried to diversify and their other stuff blows. I have never had anything but this by Omagong. So I have had one other one. I can't remember what it was, but you're right. It wasn't very good. And that was years ago. So anyhow, this is a delight. I love drinking this beer and just nursing it, milking it, right?
I had a unique combination here because I didn't want to have a vodka Sprite. I'm tired of it right now.
Yeah.
So I ended up having a vodka root beer.
Don't think I've tried that before.
It tastes like root beer.
Well, yeah. You pour enough root beer in, it will taste like root beer.
Well, I was going to say, it didn't matter how much vodka I put in. The overpowering flavor of root beer overpowered the vodka.
Yeah, what kind of root beer?
Big K.
Oh, generic. Okay. Not the good stuff. Not like A&W or something.
It's made by the same companies.
Probably it is A&W.
100% just repackaged, just not marketed.
Right.
So.
Yep. All right, what else we got?
I had it pulled up here. We have a bit of...
Do not panic. Do not panic. Cap them now. Oh, shout out quickly to Tact. Hey, remember, we are the mascots of your little team that you put together that's about to go to that tournament, which I can't remember the name of.
Yeah. I know it's the $1 million tournament, yeah.
And we are not on the jerseys, and that's quite distressing.
And we don't call you an idiot who posts stuff for clicks. So
what?
Oh, did you not watch the video
of what
that you sent me? That I need the timestamp.
Oh yeah, I did, but I didn't timestamp it. I can't remember.
Well, I timestamped it, but we'll get to that later.
Our old friend, yes.
You guys see it right up here in the corner?
Yeah.
That's where we're covering it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we got a surprise for you. An old friend of ours is back.
Yeah.
It's
not Baltimore, by the way, guys.
Listen, anyhow, I'll talk about it when we get there.
We'll talk about it when we get there, guys.
Yeah.
No worries.
Bayern U16 goalkeeper Leonard Prescott trained at Sabner Strasse on Tuesday alongside Andreas Rassi, assistant goalkeeping coach of the first team, which is very unusual for such a young player. Internally, Bayern consider him to be ahead of his age and a real gem. Oh, and he's American, so there's that.
Yeah. Hold on. This is what, Strasse?
That's Strasse. That looks like a B to U, but in German, that's a double S.
Fucking weird.
That's how they make.
All right, fine enough.
They make two S's with a B-looking thing. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's Strasse, which means street in German.
Okay.
Right? All right.
Well, we got another young goalkeeper playing in Europe. Or training in Europe, at least. Developing in Europe, let's put it that way.
Thank God. We need one of these to work out.
Somebody needs to show up. For the love of God.
Yep.
So.
Yep, let's hope so.
Right.
I mean, he's tall as fuck already. Then he's 15 years old. 193 centimeters is a large fucking mammal. Can we scroll down and see him? I want to see him. Oh, please be the next great goalkeeper. Please, God, give us a goalkeeper. Please make him really, really good. Make him the real deal. So 8 years from now, there's a 24-year-old goalkeeper playing for the United States men's national team that is one of the world's best. Okay, there. I had to put out a prayer. There it is. I did it.
Living on a prayer. I get you.
Even flow.
Let's cover all of our grounds, right?
Yes, let's do them all. Oh, have you ever seen the rain?
There you go. Got some Dan there. Nice.
Little CCR for the CCR comparisons earlier. Great song. By the way, CCR, one of the best bands ever, American bands ever to come out. Just song after song. They have a whole album at one point. Like every song on it was great.
Great.
Well, you got their greatest hits.
The greatest hits, yeah. It's great.
Yeah, well, that one's extra great. But they put out whole albums at one point that were like just good.
Oh, sure.
Front to back. But what a voice and just what a style. Nobody was.
I mean, the greatest hits is nothing more than just clicking, like going through and saying, like, hearing first song. Oh, that's from this movie or this show. Next song. Oh, that's from this movie or this show. The entire CD's like that. Oh, this entire CD is completely utilized throughout all of media.
God, what a great band. We're talking about Have You Ever Seen the Rain being just a phenomenal song. Just mind-blowing. Anyhow, great song. I might have to listen to some of that when we're done here.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, speaking of blowing.
Transfer news, transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news, but me. Whatever.
All right. This is such a toxic relationship at this point, says our friend U.S. Men's National Team report. Hayduk want to keep Puxis and Sigur. I don't know who Sigur is, but I imagine he's Icelandic with that name. It's a very Nordic name. Despite limited minutes under Gattuso, Hayduk plan to keep both players next season per index. Well, not surprising because they couldn't really offload him for what his agent and he were wanting and what the team wanted for him. And then they stopped playing him. So now his value's gone down even further. Sigur is Canadian. That's his last name or his first name?
Imagine his last name.
Well, if it's his last name, that's not that Icelandic. Then it would be Sigurðsson. But
and it's a stone's throw from Canada, though. So I mean, it's possible they, happen to make one of the voyages over from, Viking Iceland.
Yeah, possible. So. One of those trips. All right, so yeah, good report. It is what it is.
Sucks. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. By the way, hold on for a second. I'm going to grab my dad's 23andMe because he printed it out for me. This is funny. Now we're talking about.
You're going to prove that you're like 12% Neanderthal, huh?
Oh, shut up.
Here comes, guys. Evidence.
All right.
Proof.
Okay, I'm back. That was quick. So I did a bunch of research from all the countries that were on the list. And so
Derek's doxing himself right now. His entire family.
No, his address is not on here. But he's mostly Celtic. He's Celtic as fuck, with a little bit of Viking and Anglo-Saxon thrown in there, and then some Germanic tribes. But essentially,
enough about your mom. What about your dad, though?
This is my dad.
I know, I'm joking, but the fact that your mom's from Germany, that definition of what he was would have made sense for her too.
I mean, my mom's got all kinds of shit in hers, like Finnish, Lithuanian, Polish, Jewish, and then some German, right? My dad is 47% Celtic.
Sure.
33% German tribes, and 20% Anglo-Saxon Viking. I mean, he is about as Viking as you can possibly get from that era. It's kind of crazy looking at it. Like, there's nothing interesting in this. Absolutely nothing interesting in this report. He might as well just wear a fucking Celtic outfit and walk around the house, honestly. There's nothing of interest in this 23andMe. I was really disappointed. I was hoping for some sort of interesting shit. Nothing. Because then the little tiny spots on Spain and Portugal were like, okay, that's only 5%. Oh, well, you do your research. That's where the Celts lived in Portugal. Oh, that's where they settled Lisbon. Oh, that's where the Celts lived in Spain. So the little specks on Spain, I was thinking, oh, that's interesting. No, that was settled by the Celts. Okay, nothing interesting. Nothing. I mean,
you're hoping to gain some cards, use certain words, weren't you?
I was just hoping for something.
Derek. Come on, you cannot do that, dude.
I just wanted something more spicy, like some Africa, Give me a little.
That's what I was telling you. That's what I was saying, Derek. Yeah.
Like my mom's
1-2%, 1-2%, Ghanaian, you can't use certain words still, just so you know.
No,
and you get 1-2% Cherokee, you can't go and claim revenue from the local casino. It's not
well,
possible.
thank God my mom has all over the place, including Northern Africa. So, his genealogy is boring as shit. Anyhow, it was fun though that it came back, and we were all like anxious and excited.
It's good that he's bred outside of his Celtic heritage.
Well, that's why he and my brother have DePointer's disease, where your hand curls up into a ball. That's also kind of been known as the Viking disease. Makes sense now, right? Because I think my brother got all of my dad's stuff, and I got all of my mom's. Right, because I look like my grandfather. My hands are exactly the same as my grandfather. I'm hairy as fuck, like my grandfather, right? So there you go.
SK says your dad's basically just a white guy, huh?
He's as white as hell. He is as white as they come, apparently.
Oh, man.
That's been confirmed. And the really creepy thing is, you can't see it. It's too faded. They actually put in one of the parts Isle of Man. Like, how were they that good at this?
Island Whites, who else was saying it? Brian mentioned that the Romans destroyed and dominated most of Europe, pushed the remains of the Celtic tribes to the Isles.
Yeah, exactly. They pushed them out of main Europe. But they've got Isle of Man on here. Like, how do they're so good at this? Because that's where my dad's people are from. Isle of Man. We're Manx. But the Isle of Man was settled by the Celts, but then invaded by the Vikings in 1820 AD. So there you go. Celtic, Celts, Vikings.
1820 AD?
820 AD.
Okay, thank you.
A long time ago.
You said like the Vikings invaded them in 1820 AD. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Vikings are still invading people 200 years ago.
No. So 820 AD, which totally makes sense, but then they lost power eventually, but some of their DNA got into the mix population. So that might
over the mix. What are you talking about?
So that might explain why he's got the Viking thing in him too, right? Sure. On top of the Celtic thing. So anyhow, really interesting shot I get in that way because Isle of Man is where they hold a bike race every year where at least 3 people die. The Isle of Man
bicycle race?
Motorcycle race.
Motorcycle. Okay, I was gonna say.
Yes.
That's some serious racing if you die on a bicycle, man.
Well, one year 7 people died.
Yeah.
In 1 year. So and they keep doing it. They're not going to stop doing the TT race in the Isle of Man. They're just nuts. Okay.
Yep. Danes are Vikings. Vikings are just a name that were associated with the Norse. Basically, anybody from the 3 finger countries plus Denmark and Belgium and Holland area, right?
Somewhere you're pushing a little with Belgium and Holland, but it's mostly a Scandinavian thing. Although the Norse also settled Normandy, what became Normandy, and of course they invaded England. William the Conqueror invaded England, and that makes even more Viking Norse blood going into England.
There. Viking is a verb. To go Viking, basically.
Well, tell that to Minnesota.
Exactly.
All right.
Bad news. Jordan Peacock and Rams have been relegated.
Yes, they have. Yeah. He didn't even start in this last game.
Rough considering 2 seasons ago, Balogun was scoring like 47,000 goals for them.
Yeah, they've fallen hard. And boy, they just continue to stink. Maybe they even got worse once Balogun got there. They seemed to get worse. And
they're mid-table with Balogun there because again he had something like 20 some odd goals.
No, when Peacock got there, my bad.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
When Peacock got there, they seemed to just not get any better. Like they were horrible. And now they lost to, was it Mets? Was it Mets? I believe it's Mets. And who were the third place team in Ligue 2, right? So I don't know. P. Fox got no chance of being on the U.S. men's national team.
Toast at this point.
He's gone. And he ain't coming back, folks. So
too high in his 20s, and there's younger kids out there that are better.
Yep, absolutely.
TT for $2 says Vikings were dirty savages that couldn't read.
We evolved.
The reading aspect.
We evolved.
Yeah. They were actually they're very good at warfare. They had good strategists, and they conquered and pillaged a lot of Europe.
They sure as hell did. So we got Parma have made a $2 million offer for Alex Freeman. Well, based on the talk going on with the transfer market guys behind the scenes and some of the other people noting how good this kid is and what his ceiling is, I don't think $2 million is going to do the job, honestly.
No, I was wondering that because there's a couple of center backs that are getting some looks here. Center backs and wing and actual backs. And I was like, every single one of them, I started like, hey, is Orlando going to turn down a $2 million offer for what essentially is a back?
Yes.
And then I went and looked at some of the backs I've left, Bello, Tolkien, so forth, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like they're going to be able to get more than $2 million for this game.
I do too. And even if it's just 4, doubling that. Yeah.
If it's done now, if he establishes himself and actually makes a name for himself in the U.S. men's national team, you're going to look at much more than 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Tolkien went for 6.
I mean,
no. Tolkien went for 2.5. It was Bello that went for 6, I think.
Yeah. People have Freeman in the starting lineup by moving Dest out to left back and starting Freeman on the right.
Or as that's 27 for $1.99 says, maybe try Dest at wing in the Gold Cup.
You should.
We've talked about it too.
Yep. Or midfield. I mean, same thing, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we play a 4-2, 3-1. Yeah, why not try Dest and leave? You don't have to play defense. Put Freeman behind him. Have Freeman play defense.
Give him all the freedom of his creativity. We've seen plenty of it, but then we were relying on him to go back and check up back on defense when we are on defense. So,
yep. I mean,
we talked about that before. We talked about that when Weah started going to Juve, and then he was like being touted as a right back at times. That we're like, well, maybe we just literally flip flop Weah and Dest.
Yep. William the Conqueror was culturally French and only spoke French like a lot of English kings after. Absolutely. You'd have to describe them as English kings. But yes, French that's where we get a lot of words from the French. A good example would be supper from French. I
think we've talked about this. We're a hodgepodge of 3 different languages?
Yeah, a lot more than that even. Yeah.
For the most part, though.
Yeah, I mean, majority, yes. About 3, but a lot of shit thrown in from Yiddish and all over. German.
Or super from
German. Yeah, yep. Derek making shit up.
Derek making shit up.
Actually, not making shit up. I've studied this, so you don't have to listen to me, though.
Well, Bristol City are reportedly set to make a $1 million euro move, or pound move, I guess, for George Campbell.
Well, I guess he's been pretty poor this season, so I mean, a lot of Montreal fans say that. So maybe they're just looking past that. And so is Poach, because he was in the 60 man. But
yeah.
I mean, I hope his season gets better. I don't think it's all on him.
It's possible Bristol may be looking at the physical aspects and simply saying, we have the technology. We can rebuild them.
Well, what they're looking at, really, And them and a lot of championship teams in England is like, well, everybody else is bringing these Americans over, and they're turn out really good. So, I mean, Haji Wright, Aiden Morris, they're all starters. Sargent, we got them from Germany, and then England. But, I mean, in the end, they're good deals, and they turn out to be some of our best players. Maybe there is an argument that the championship isn't as hard as we really think it is. Because Aiden Morris is doing just as good at Middlesbrough in the championship as I think he did. And you're going to tell me that Aiden Morris suddenly got levels better when he arrived in the championship? So I understand those arguments. I really do. When people say, well, look at all these MLS players that are going to the championship, and they do really good. I didn't think Wiley was that great at Watford this season. And look at Tolkien.
I think
you could say the same thing about the Bundesliga, maybe. I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I think when it comes to the championship and MLS, we've talked about it where MLS sort of settles nicely in between League One and Championship. There's some good teams that would be contending up towards the top of Championship, maybe the playoffs and stuff like that. And then there are some teams like the LA Galaxy who would be bottom of League One right now.
Well, so would your Chicago.
Yeah, they'd be mid-table League One. Come on, man. Let's be serious.
I'm just saying.
You can't spend years shitting on me, Derek, and then get upset when I start shitting on you. Come on.
I'm not upset.
Oh, your Chicago team would be there too. Come on, son. Come on.
Saying, well, this is an off year for the Galaxy. Honestly, they just won the championship, right?
That's fair.
Last season, MLS. But what I'm saying is these championship teams are looking at these other championship teams who are plucking American players from wherever, some from MLS. I mean, MLS would be, obviously Aiden Morris and Wiley, right? And they're good. They're completely fit in. They're not fish out of water. Tolkien goes to Holstein Kiel and becomes one of their best players almost immediately. Now, Holstein Kiel, the worst team in Germany? Yeah, they are. They're one of the worst.
I'll say this much. It's one of those things where, like, we can see the faults in MLS. There are plenty of faults. Saying that there are players that, if given the opportunity and have the right mentality, can thrive in some of the best leagues, or
yes.
At least tread water and show that, hey, I'm not, like you said, not a fish out of water. I mentioned it recently whenever the Roma rumors came out about Brian Gutierrez. I don't know if Roma is going to be the spot for him by any means, but I think he would be able to hold his own in Serie A if he was playing for a team that would just give him the chance. I think he'd be fine.
Yep. I guess, Chris,
that's the type of mentality I guess I'm going at.
I just think a lot of teams in the championship and maybe in Bundesliga too, and you'd like to think going forward, even in the EPL from mid-table down, got to see some of these Americans as pretty good deals. You're getting a better player than you thought for a lot less money that you're going to have to spend if you go out and get a French guy or you go out and get a Dutch guy. You're going to get a deal, maybe, as long as the MLS team is reasonable. But I think the deal that Haji Wright, Coventry City got a good deal there. Norwich got eventually a pretty good deal out of that.
Okay, let's also take into consideration two players you literally just brought up were transfers from within Europe, and not necessarily transfers from MLS. So, will Bristol City get Campbell for £1 million? I don't think so.
No,
I think Montreal's going to hold out for more, 3 million probably,
2 to 3.
And whether that's a good enough deal for Bristol to continue to pursue, I don't know. I can't tell you that but it's like Haji Wright's a great deal for Coventry, but then again, they got him from Turkey.
Yeah,
at that point, you're looking at his market value is like 1 million, and they got him for 1.2 million or whatever. Like, okay, maybe it's a little more than what his market value was at.
That's a good deal.
But that's still a good deal, and that's still cheaper than going out and getting a striker / winger from MLS, though.
Yes.
Trying to use an example, you're going to be looking at 2-3 times that because MLS really
Overprices.
overprices their players. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, the Pacers are currently down by 16 in the third here, and I guess Chris Richards is at the game. There you go.
All right. Speaking of the Pacers and people being at the Pacers games, we had whatever that young, very young prospect at Real Madrid or Barcelona, one of the Spanish top tier teams, was in Indiana watching the Pacers play, and people were like, "Oh, look, Indy 11's going to get a new player," and of course I'm like, "Hey, insert player here, where do you want to spend your summer off? Where do you want to go on vacation? You want to go to Fiji? Do you want to go to, Monaco? Do you want to go here, X, Y, and Z?" And he was like, I was really thinking about going to Indiana. It's like,
hey, man,
why was he in Indiana? I just don't understand that. That's the weirdest thing in the world.
Oh, maybe it was Indy 11 taking a loan.
Doubtful. Highly, ever doubtful.
You talking about that 15-year-old kid that just signed for Real Madrid?
Maybe.
All right.
I can't. I comment. I get to look through my Twitter and find it if I wanted to really worry about that, but I really don't care.
Yeah. All right.
Well, good on Campbell. Good on Freeman. Hopefully they can secure moves, and hopefully the clubs get the money they want.
I got really positive vibes going for Freeman. He's got it all. He's athletic. He's fast as fuck. And he's technically very sound. All those things mixed together bode well, I think.
Yeah.
West Brom and Ranger are chasing U.S. defender George Bello around his living room, who could be available for $1 million from Austria side Lask this summer. I think they just won the last game of their season today, actually, Lask.
But this goes to the point we're just making with Haji and Sargent, even for the matter, compared to players coming from MLS. I mean, Bello is going to offer as much to West Brom and Rangers as many of MLS players out there, and they're going to get him for significantly cheaper.
I can't really shit on this report because it seems somewhat believable. I mean, Rangers seems like a pretty big step up, but West Brom,
is that still really that big of a step up? I mean, I know they're going to have Champions League and stuff like that, but maybe Champions League. Champions League?
Yeah, I think so.
They have it this year?
Don't
they have two?
I think they get two, don't they?
BLT.
They used to get two, but could be because they performed so poorly in it, they only get one now.
Possible.
But they used to get two. Used to.
Yeah.
So anyhow, good for him. Bello going to Austria sort of disappeared off the face of the map for a lot of people. So
yeah, I mean, it's quite a steep drop from going to Bundesliga down to Austria, just SPL. So.
Yeah, and then playing for Lask. If you're playing for Leipzig or Austria, Vienna, or
Salzburg, you mean, not Leipzig.
I mean Salzburg, yeah. Better. I mean, you're going to you're going to be on one of the best teams in the league. Not that Lask finished great this season. Jedi having surgery explains why he's not part of the Gold Cup roster. We've been saying this for weeks.
Like if people would just watch our show, they'd be more
well informed. Right? Yes,
this shouldn't be a surprise. You've talked about this for a couple shows now.
Yeah, for a couple weeks. I've been saying, hey, don't hold it against Jedi. He's having surgery as soon as the season's over.
Yeah.
And
guys, apparently, just watch our show. Watch our show. It's fun.
The show.
Educational. Come on.
How nobody else knows this except for me. I don't know.
We're the only soccer show where you can learn what edging is.
That's true. Boys, edging. Edging's really great. I don't have the discipline for it. All right.
So Brian basically talks about that. He's like, he's coming back from a knee surgery, and Fulham has announced that he'll be ready to start next season.
But he's not going to be healthy enough, even if he had the surgery 3 weeks ago. Would not be available for the U.S. men's national team.
No.
Going to take a whole summer to get better. Derek is edging that beer right now. That's true. I am. It's getting near the bottom, though.
And I said, start for what team, though?
Yeah.
He goes, doesn't matter. He'll be ready.
Someone different, but I hope he stays at Fulham. I don't see any reason to leave at this point. You're 28, 29 years old. I mean, what do you got? 3 or 4, 5 seasons max at your best? I don't know. I mean, I'm a Fulham fan, so of course I'm biased, and I don't want him to leave. But it does seem to me they were certainly sort of preparing for him to leave by trying other guys out wide this season when he wasn't there and wasn't healthy. So, in fact, I think he played every other game, kind of, at the end of the season for Fulham. And
all indications is he's moving.
Yep.
From Jedi's standpoint, he's at an age now where he's got to make a big move and hopefully get more money.
If he doesn't make it,
if you stayed at Fulham, man, he'd be I mean, dare I say a legend, but he would guarantee playing time and progression forward. I don't know. It's just something you want to say. Do you want to stay sharp, or do you want to make a little bit of extra months?
So if you look at the 9 teams ahead of Fulham or more, which one of them is going to pay the big bucks? It's got to be Liverpool or.
Well, Liverpool is always like the go-to rumor for him.
Yes.
Like every time that they were like, "Oh, shopping Jedi," it's a Liverpool rumor. It's like Weston to Tottenham, except for now it's Jedi to Liverpool.
I mean, if Teo wasn't at AC Milan, I'd say go there, but you're not going to overthrow that guy. I don't know where he goes, but Liverpool has been the main rumor.
Daniel says he'd probably start at Juve. Seeing how we play Weston at left back for Juve, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Keybone Maker says Teo may be leaving Milan.
Yep. I mean, there are a lot of rumors at Milan, but you can't get rid of Teo if you're Milan. He's too good. He's one of the best players on the team all season. I mean, he show up every night, not always. He makes some stupid fouls and stupid decisions. He does, but he's still like super skilled. Can't get rid of Teo if you're AC Milan. There are a lot of things and a lot of players you could get rid of at AC Milan, but Teo ain't one of them.
Yeah.
If I'm AC Milan, I'm getting rid of him.
Brian says he's from Liverpool, so it makes sense. And that might be another contributing factor. If Liverpool comes a knocking and they don't offer him much more money than Fulham is offering, he may take it simply because whatever. I don't know if it's necessarily his childhood team or not, but.
Well, I mean, you could definitely tell he's from Liverpool based on his sort of Scouse edgery there on when he speaks. Little bit of Scouse in there. Not like I can't understand what you're saying, Scouse. You can hear a little bit of that in there.
Yeah.
More like a Beatles Scouse than a Wayne Rooney Scouse, right? Like Wayne Rooney, you can almost not understand what he's saying. And sometimes.
Yeah.
Here's another transfer. Oh,
sorry.
League One club. Toulouse have made an offer for 24-year-old Columbus Crew wingback Max Arfson, which was rejected. I'd like to know what the offer was.
Yeah.
No, U.S. men's defender. Yes. Mark McKenzie also plays at Toulouse. Yes.
Yep.
Like, this is not surprising me. I mean, I've watched a handful of Columbus games, and I think Max Arfson's a pretty decent player.
There's no announcement as far as where this came from. I mean, there's no quote to say, at Tom Bogert or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like when they do that. They just make up a fictional deal and they say it didn't happen with no, like, here's where I heard it from. I
wouldn't be surprised if offers start coming for Arson, quite frankly. He's having a pretty solid season at Columbus.
U.S. men's national team only. I'm not saying that to be a dick. I'm just saying it would be nice to know generally where you got that news from. Because otherwise it's kind of like you pulling that out of your butthole, or are you talking to an agent? I mean, where are you getting that? According to agent, Max Larson's agent, then I'd be like, okay, I could see that kind of agent rumor spreading. That's what agents do. They spread rumors. Lots of them are lies. How many times did Jesus Ferreira have to go out and say, yeah,
I'm going to Napoli?
No, he would say,
I know he said no.
My agent's full of shit. I was never going to Napoli. No one's ever made an offer for me. So it's all posturing, basically. Posturing.
I don't know about those rumors. I don't think they're true.
All right, here's another one. Johnny Cardoso's turned down a move to Tottenham to join Atletico Madrid. The agreement between Atleti and the player is imminent. Like, this sounds like more bullshit. I have not heard anything about Tottenham wanting desperately to fulfill the agreement they have with him. Okay.
I know there's a lot of people following this channel, so
lots of people follow all kinds of people. Doesn't mean they're full of shit. Doesn't mean they're taking some agent's bullshit and putting it up in print. So anyhow, at least he doesn't at somebody via who's reporting it. I think if Tottenham really wanted this guy, Johnny Cardoso is not turning him down a big deal from Tottenham. It's not happening. I mean, it just seems to me that they haven't pursued him. They haven't made the big offer, and Atleti's more interested. Madrid's more interested. Going to go there. He's part of.
Boker says Cardoso prefers Atletico, and then Brian says just.
Nope. Go back one. You read that incorrectly. Tom Bogert says Cardoso prefers ass to mouth.
Oh, fair enough.
Anyhow,
sometime in the heat of the moment, Derek.
I'm sure he would prefer to stay in the same country, but at the same time, I don't think Tottenham pursued him as in we want to sign you this minute. I think Tottenham were like, we see you a little bit down the road. Play another couple of years in Spain. Then get back to us. I mean, are they in a position to do that the way they finished? But, probably not. But I do believe Tottenham get to play in the Champions League next season because of their win in UEFA Cup.
Oh,
yeah,
fair enough.
So do Atleti Madrid. They get to play in the Champions League, so it's a win-win for him either way, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Edgar says if Cardoso does sign with Atletico Madrid, he'll miss out on the Gold Cup due to the Club World Cup. Who's his replacement, Derek? Because he says Paxton or Aiden.
I'm going with. I mean, if you're more like for like positionally, it'd be Aiden, but I'm taking Paxton. I'm sorry.
I assumed it'd be either Paxton or Tessman were my two picks.
Are we really thinking this deal's getting done right now, or is it done?
I don't know.
Is it done? Somebody put in the chat, deal's done.
Yeah, Brian said it was done. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if somebody else said it was done.
Effective immediately? Effective immediately.
Brian says it just happened with Atleti. The Champions League. Spurs are trying to get him to replace that dude.
Well, Spurs aren't trying hard enough because believe me, if they have the money to beat out any deal Atleti puts out there. If they want to drop big bucks, I am sure Cardoso will say, I can't say no to that money. I'm taking the money. So they're not trying hard enough is what I'm saying. That's why Atleti is going to win this. The only way Tottenham wins it, because they're both going to Champions League, is if they spend more, period.
Didn't they already sign like some pre-sign-up deal or whatever it was?
Yeah.
So
they're
so
probably
long as
they're probably getting a cut out of this deal to Atleti, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they are.
Tottenham's like, all right, you can have him for this many million.
Right. And so they signed him. Since the window doesn't open until June 1st, I don't think he's going to be on the roster at the Club World Cup. That'd be
a quick turnaround if they did, right?
Yeah. He's never played with the team, practiced with the team. I don't see that happening. He'll just play for the U.S. in the Gold Cup, more than likely.
Possible.
Yeah, somebody's saying Atletico has more money than Tottenham. I'm not sure I believe that, Lamar. Like, Levy is fucking loaded to outside. Like, money drops off of his body when he walks. I don't know.
One of the TV rights are comparable.
Imagine
EPL's higher.
It is by a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, even if the Atletico owner is super duper wealthy, I mean, how much are you really going to pony in comparison to the heavy spinners of EPL?
Daniel Levy is a ridiculous billionaire. I think we're fine. All right.
Bad news on the Gold Cup, or good news, I guess, front, is that Schulte is, in fact, out for 6 to 8 weeks, which means that Chris Brady's been called in.
All right. Good for Chris.
Yeah.
It's been a long time waiting.
I agree. I mean, despite the fact that he's only got a couple of years under his belt, really, but still.
Yeah, Lenny,
I think he's playing well enough that he should have been given an opportunity at some point.
Lenny Jenkins says La Liga has a strict wage cap, so ass to mouth can probably give more money than Tottenham. Can't give more money than Tottenham. I would agree with that assessment, Lenny. Absolutely. I'm sorry that it's ass. It's kind of like Clit, right? For
yeah, Bimar says they're not. He corrects it. Not gonna sign him just to let him get injured at the Gold Cup. Let's say they sign him up June 1st. Is that are they able to still add to their Club World Cup roster though?
Who knows?
When does the Club World Cup?
Who's the Club World Cup expert at this point? Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
Cup roster due. Come on, AI. June 10th. So they do have time. They got time.
Well, I'm just going to say.
They could. If they make the big deal for Cardoso, Atletico could simply say, yep, he's going to go to Club World Cup with us. And then not play him. Just,
talking about fucking us totally in the asshole. That's crazy if that happens. That would suck. All right. That would suck. That means we're losing another player who is definitely World Cup bound who will not be playing during the Gold Cup. So we won't get to see. Oh, look who that is. Our good friend Jake. He's back.
Good buddy, Jake. Yeah, apparently he's been posting some videos, and he's doing a different style of video out there now. It's sort of like him just talking about what he wants to talk about, not necessarily doing the high in-depth formats that he used to do with breakdowns of the U.S. men's national team and stuff and everything. So it's a little change of scenery for him, especially with this. I'm assuming it's a green screen. I mean, nothing moves during the entire video. There's no.
Well, you want the knives to move? What do you mean?
Nah, the paperwork on the stuff on the fridge. I feel like if there's AC blowing in there, maybe he doesn't have AC blowing right now.
No.
But nothing moves. Nothing shifts at all. There's not a cat that walks in the way. No dogs. No screaming kid down the hall.
Good point. Could be.
I mean, you can't live in a background like this all the time.
We'll see.
This is where my office is at. I mean, this nice club I'm working at right now.
I mean, your strip joint. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That you run on the side. Maybe this is kitchen. I was going to say it's a very nice kitchen.
Oh, it's a really nice kitchen. It's really clean. Puts my kitchen to shame if it is in fact his kitchen.
Well, yeah, you've got a bunch of kids, dude. Your kitchen.
He's got 2 kids too, though, man. If that's his kitchen, he's got 2 kids, man. That's a really impressive.
His 2 kids are a lot younger than yours. They're not running around in the kitchen.
I told my kids this morning, I go, guys, when you get home, kitchen table needs to be picked up because they just drop all their stuff on the kitchen table. My kitchen table needs to be picked up. And so I get home, kitchen table's not picked up. Jack comes upstairs. It's like, you know what I did when I got here? I did X, Y, and Z. I'm like, you know what you didn't do? You didn't pick up the kitchen table. Shit.
Yeah, little.
Thomas, two of you should remember this. What the hell?
I know. I asked you to do one thing. All right.
What?
Thomas Powell for $5. Would you guys ever consider making an audio format of the show uploaded on Spotify or Apple Podcasts? We have done that before, but it was a long time ago.
I started it up every time. I'm like, oh shit, we still have our RSS feed.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying for it. I don't know. It's just another thing for me to do in my normal day-to-day activities. And I'll do it for like 3 or 4 weeks straight. And then I just...
So my question to Thomas is it hard to... Because I know that Tack used to listen to our show when he bike rides every day, right? Working out on his bike. And he's just listening to the YouTube channel with his headphones while he bike rides. So, I mean, is that hard to do, do you think? I don't know, Brett.
Well, I mean, you can it depends. If you have unlimited data, you can just sit there and listen to YouTube. Or if you don't have unlimited data, you can download a podcast and listen to the podcast without using data.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem. Yeah.
That's the problem, right? So
yeah.
I mean, people have asked us to do it. And like you said, I go about spurts and I start doing it. I'm like, it only takes a handful, 10 minutes at most. I got to download the audio feed. I got to post it, put a little blurb on it. Throw, whatever. Done. But I'm just like, it'll be like times it'll be like Friday morning, and I'm like, I won't even think about it. And then all of a sudden Saturday comes, I'm like, shit, I didn't post it. So.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I'm not doing it. So if Brett's not going to be able to do it, because it's
consistently is the issue. And I would like for us to be on there. I would like for us to have a podcasting reach. Because there are plenty of people who do commute and then just listen to podcasts.
Yeah, we need to get it up there. So, yeah. I haven't done a very good job of reminding you either. I've done a shitty job of going, hey, Brett, did you get that up on Spotify?
It's 10 minutes on my life. I should just set an alarm clock.
Mm-hmm.
Every Tuesday morning, like at 9:30, and every Friday at 9:30. Hey, dickhead, get the podcast up.
Okay.
That's not me. I'll start it.
Okay. Brett is committed to starting it. So he's going to put the clock alarm on right now as we speak.
Well, yeah. I'll do it now. Because if I say, I'll do it after the show, then I'll forget about it.
Yeah, you will. I know.
All right. Well,
yeah. So, anyhow, Jake talked about this whole thing about U.S. fandom kind of deteriorating. And listen, we've got nothing personal against Jake. He came at us, right? Or at me specifically. And I texted him, by the way, after he came at me and Pete for shit that all turned out to be true, by the way, and said that we were basement level?
Below the basement level journalists.
Below the basement level journalists, even though I was a journalist for 20 years, soccer journalist. Did all the interviews, wrote articles. So I kind of got that journalism thing going. And then I continued at Big Soccer when Brett and I were invited to be there and wrote articles. And we interviewed some of the best and biggest people from U.S. Soccer at the time on our show. Everyone from Grant Wall all the way down to the players like Tony Miola and John O'Brien. I mean, we interviewed everybody across the board. And so to say that we're below the level, I just chuckled on it. I did text him and said, hey, let's talk this out. Let me tell you where I'm getting stuff. And, I thought we were cool. I know you're not cool with Tact and Pete, but I thought we were cool. Nothing. Absolutely nothing back from me.
We milked the shit out of the below the basement thing for about 3 weeks there, though. So that was fun.
Yeah, we did. We did milk it.
It's every time we preface the two by saying, like, got nothing against Jake, but here's something funny to talk about.
But even if you're going at just Tact and Pete, which is fine, how much do they get wrong? You're coming at me. We get almost nothing wrong. Like, and we've been around for 15 years almost at this point. We're old. Like, we don't get shit wrong.
Old.
When we report shit, it's 99% going to be right.
99.
I can't even remember what we've gotten wrong. I'm sure there's been one thing. But, like, I'm also a reluctant breaker of news. Why? Because I got to trust the guy giving me the information. So when I got the information about the upcoming friendlies, I knew who it was from, knew I could trust it. I put it up. Turned out 2 months, 3 months later was absolutely correct. So I'm not offended. And I could totally make up with Jake tomorrow. Like if we had a phone call, although I got no interest in doing that. It's not like he's a big player or he's my best friend or we have this long-standing relationship. I don't have any of that. And so, yeah.
You guys only jerked each other off like twice, right?
Only twice.
Yeah.
And only twice. And he was horrible at edging. Just absolutely horrible at edging. So anyhow, he was better at edging. The relationship would have been better.
Exactly.
All right. But anyhow, let's play. Because
it's been a year or so. Maybe he's gotten more practice. Who knows?
I doubt it. On himself.
So I think I only remember the first timestamp because that's when he brings Tact into the equation. But after that, I don't have the actual.
That's fine. We'll play him
we'll play him.
We'll play him and reply.
Yep.
And engagement. Take nothing away from Tactical Manager right now. He is the master of stirring the pot, saying really dumb stuff, trying to back it up, and then arguing with the hundreds of people that come and try and argue with him. And Twitter, for their business model, felt like getting engagement was the best way to keep people online.
All right, hold on. If you're going to say he puts up really dumb stuff, I would implore Jake to include an example of said dumb stuff. Like when I came on here and I've criticized a lot of people, Doug McIntyre, I was specific about what I was criticizing him for. I said, you don't come out if you're Doug McIntyre when we know you have a connection to U.S. Soccer and report that Cherundolo's going to be the next manager. Because we're going to believe you because of your U.S. Soccer connections. And it turns out Cherundolo was never on the map. So, Doug took that to heart, and then I criticized him another time, but I was always specific up to Doug about what I was criticizing him about. And then he replied to me and say, listen, I got that one wrong, and I blew it. And then I said, I'm really glad to hear that. Let's have a conversation going forward. And maybe I was too harsh. And, we had a couple talks after that, and then nothing for months now. So I'm just saying, if you're going to criticize Tact for being dumb, quotation, dumb, then tell us what you think he did was dumb. We disagree with Tact all the time on this show. We've had him on here to debate things we disagree with.
Yeah.
And it's been fun. But I'm not calling him dumb. But he is a troll. It's Twitter. As TT says, it's Twitter. He trolls. That's what he does. So does Lawless. Lawless trolls. It's a way to get engagement, I guess, but it's also fun.
His actual takes, you can agree or disagree. If he clowns on MLS for some reason or whatever, or a specific player, that's his opinion on it. But his actual takes are fine.
Yeah.
Again, you can agree or disagree, but I feel like most of Tech knows that he's a blue check mark. He knows in order to get engagement, sometimes you got to troll. You got to say some ridiculous thing from time to time,
which we're horrible at. You and I are bad at this.
Horrible. I mean, I say ridiculous things all the time. It's just that I never get any traction with it.
Well, you're not trolling right then.
I don't troll actually. I goof. That's the problem, right? I'm not trolling hard enough.
Right. To troll is
turning over a leaf now. We'll start trolling tomorrow, guys.
Trolling is putting out an absurd statement and knowing that it's going to draw rage, right? By the way, for the 316 of you here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share with your grandma, And of course, share it with your stepsister. She's just as passionate about this game as you are. All right, great for a Thursday night.
Why has Jake been staring at me for like 5 minutes?
I know.
That's what turned Derek off too.
Make the edging part really difficult.
Come on, man. Come on. Look somewhere else.
Come on, man.
I don't want to make eye contact with you.
Not while we're doing this. All right. What else you got?
All right. Here we go.
All that mattered is that it stirred conversation. And I think when adding value is placed below engagement and anger in terms of business priority, that is never going to foster a community that you want to be a part of. So,
oh, come on. I don't think it's that serious. I really don't. I think that he's trolling. Dak does troll, but then he puts out a lot of, good stuff too.
So this is more based off of a general. He used tech as an example, and he's moved on to this point where Twitter and, quite frankly, social media in general puts more value on or puts more emphasis on reaction interaction more so than value of content.
Well, welcome to the game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it doesn't foster the community that you want to be a part of. I hate that phrase. The community is what you build yourself.
Right. And
you don't have to be friendly with everybody.
He's basically insinuating that people like Tack are the reason that Americans and American fans and U.S. men's national team fans have stopped watching U.S. soccer or stopped paying attention or stopped caring. Bullshit. U.S. soccer's doing this to themselves. They fucked us over. They have been super corporate. They're not really interested in our thoughts and ideas, or they pretended to be and invited us to Austin to talk about it. A bunch of us, we didn't show up, but others did.
What's this? What's this sugar-coated, happy land that he's trying to portray as a community? When has it ever occurred? Does he not recall the big soccer days before Twitter?
Oh, it's horrible.
How heated did the Sports Illustrated page or comment section always get with us?
Yes, even that.
There were some vicious comments being made back and forth. This concept that there's one time there was this community that we're all holding hands, singing "Kumbaya" by a fire.
Bullshit.
It never existed. I don't know what people are thinking, what they're smoking. It never existed, guys.
It never existed. It's always
a sport.
Big soccer was a death sport. I mean, people were constantly at each other's throats at big soccer. And I was a monitor, and I let it happen because, well, that's just the way it went, right?
It's an online board. Of course you're going to let it happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to get involved. I just watched it. I laughed a lot and thought, man, this is so fucking ugly. But, I mean, we left it alone on big soccer. Why would we get involved? Now, yeah, so blaming this on Tact and others like Tact, which, I'm sure including Pete there, just this comes off as bitter. It comes off as bitter. And I think there were 88 views when I watched this. And it had come out
99. It was like 99 when I looked, yeah.
It was like 6 hours ago. Yeah, this is what happens when you disappear. People stop listening. You got 15K subscribers, but only 99 people are watching.
Mm-hmm.
So don't come off bitter and that you left because it became all sourpuss. No, man, it's always been like this shit. Where have you been? U.S. soccer community's always been at each other's throats. So,
well, that's the thing. When the whole toxic narrative that came out, like, oh, U.S. men's national team Twitter is toxic. I'm like, go to any other sport. Soccer's no different.
Right.
Go to any other sport. There is always butting of heads of people.
Constantly.
And there's going to be trolling. There's going to be people who are saying hateful shit. There's going to be people who are just bashing people for bashing people. 300-pound, armchair, coaches sitting there explaining why a certain player isn't good enough. I mean,
well, and this is true with all sports, as you say. It's true with the F1 community online. I mean, there are Lando Norris haters. There are Hamilton haters. There are Verstappen haters. Like, it's just how this is, guys. It isn't suddenly gone bad. It's been like this for a while. It's called conflict and disagreement and trolling Shit's been around forever, and if you can't get used to that, you're going to blame this on tact, and people like tact. That's where, no, come on. This is ridiculous. Oh, you were providing real info, but tact was trolling, and your real info had to take a back seat to tax trolling. Come on. Give me a break.
I think about 60 to 70% of what I post, like actual, like me taking time out and posting something is always going to be kind of like lighthearted and joking. I'm always going to poke Lawless posted no, it wasn't Lawless. It was Lawless. Yeah. I think it was Lawless. Somebody posted, player, best defender of the season, best midfielder, best player, or striker, and the best player, or whatever it was. And they played it all through. And I go, what? There's no best goalkeeper of the year for players abroad? Not a serious post because our goalkeepers abroad have sucked donkey dicks this season.
Right.
So, I mean, it's clearly meant as a joke, and that's majority of what I post on Twitter.
I'm sure it went over 50% of the people's heads, too. Yeah. TT says for $2, offer your show for Larry and Jake debate. I don't think Jake will come on this show. He has been on the show in the old days, but not going to come on now. RD Rap 13 for $4.99. Thank you, brother. The real problem are ticket prices that are way too high to watch a heartless team. I agree. I think that's the essential issue. That's the real problem. That's why people are walking away from the U.S. men's national team. Or as Herc said, this team is unlikable. And he's right in some ways. They're soft. They're unlikable. Yeah, there's too many nice guys on this team. You would think, oh, well, we like nice guys. No, we want a bit of esprit de corps. That's French. Esprit de corps. That's what we want. We want some guts. We want to see some balls. We want to see a little bit of super confidence, which Pulisic just told us on his own show on Paramount he doesn't have a lot of. And that's just the biggest hole in his game is, I really don't have the kind of confidence a lot of the other stars do in soccer. It's something I got to work on. As he rode in his golf cart, filmed by his best friend. So, the likability factor, on the other hand, comes down to the fact that it does seem like or look like when we play, we don't care. So it has nothing to do with the vitriol on Twitter, which is what he's talking about. Twitter in the fall of U.S. soccer. I don't think so. People just turned off. They stopped talking about the U.S. men's national team because they stopped caring because we don't look like we care. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with tact and trolls and Lawless being a troll or whatever. That's the only thing keeping the heartbeat alive at this point. So give them credit. Give tact and Lawless some credit for keeping something alive. It's dying.
Well, I mean, I mean, how many times do we see it in the chat? Somebody saying, "I've totally checked out of this team, but I keep watching your show."
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there are people that are bowing out of following it, but they still follow our show, which happens to follow the thing they're bowing out of.
Yeah, there are 354 people on this show right now on both Twitter and YouTube. That's a good number. There are people who do fucking care. Still, they're bitter. They're disappointed, like us. They're disappointed. But we're not totally walking away because I think that people are hoping this gets fixed somehow before the World Cup. You missed the point totally. The point is you can't follow on soccer without assholes like your friends insulting everyone. Okay, listen, I'm just going to say this. People are assholes to everybody. I get assholes. Other people, Brett's had people attack him. I've had people. I just don't care. I don't give a shit. Call me fat. Call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I seriously don't give a shit. Like, I move on. And I think that's what we all have to do. I don't think this is changing. I don't think social media is changing. We all have to wipe and go.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is, again, follow any sport. You can't go onto a board anywhere for any sport and there'd be this magical kumbaya session going on,
Not
where everybody
happening.
gets along with everybody. There's no problems whatsoever. It is people who have the opportunity to voice their opinions to the masses. It's social media. We have to acknowledge that. We have to move on, like you said. We have to. If there are assholes out there that are ruining it for you, there's this button.
You
blocks
mute them.
It blocks them. You can mute them. You don't ever have to see them ever again. You can actually remove their interactions from your feed. You'll never see it again.
And to pretend like this hasn't been going on since big soccer, as you mentioned earlier, is ridiculous. The most vitriolic, nasty debates I ever saw were on big soccer 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Before any social media or any internet really happened, what you used to do? Well, you watch a game, whether it's soccer, whether it's basketball, football, whatever. Team fucking sucked. What do you go? You go to work the next day, you sit at the water cooler, and you badmouth the players who suck donkey balls to your other coworkers. And there may be one coworker who's like, you know what?
You're full of shit.
I'm still a big Pacer fan, even though we lost this game by 45 points. They suck. Well, I'm still a big Pacer fan. I mean, it happens in real life too.
Yeah, we're down by 17. So there you go. All right. What else has Jake said? You got another one?
I got a couple left. Yeah.
Okay.
Now that most of the games, whether it's Major League Soccer on Apple TV, whether it's the English Premier League on Peacock, whether it is the U.S. national teams on HBO Max, all of these things have been put behind a barrier. And to strip that away, while stripping away the place of community that we had, it really feels like the entire fandom has completely buckled from a place where I felt so optimistic that we were kind of coming up on this critical mass moment that soccer would become one of the main sports in America.
So I brought this point up because he does start getting into topics where I can definitely agree with.
Some of them, yeah.
When we start, Derek, how many times we watch a show and do a live stream of one of the games, and you have to watch it in Spanish because there's no English broadcast that you have?
Correct.
So taking it and putting it behind a pay barrier
is ridiculously stupid.
And then to his point, also he brings up the fact that there's a lack of community because now it seems I didn't have this part in there, but he talks about how the community itself has kind of like broken apart. There are people that are on Instagram. There are people that are on Twitter. There are people on Blue Sky, but they're not all together in this massive community anymore. And you take that and you take the fact that it's no longer readily accessible for people unless you want to pay HBO to watch this service or Peacock to watch this or Paramount to watch that. It's whittling down on the game and preventing it from taking the grand stage that we all thought that it would eventually take.
Yeah. Colin has a complaint. Can you put that up real quick?
One sec. This one?
How do you explain how you're paying so much attention to this video because it's relevant to the topic we're talking about tonight?
Yeah.
When you never showed any interest in any of my content, that's not true. We've seen all your content. And by the way, when you make comments here, we regularly read them. So if you want to be offended by the fact that we regularly read your comments on this show, go ahead. But I mean, I think we've been fair as fuck. Period. End of story. All right, move on. Yeah, so the other thing with this is that he's right. We put MLS behind a paywall. And now MLS is panicking behind the scenes. MLS is panicking right now. They panicked about mid-season and said, no, okay, fuck it. This isn't working. Let's put at least some games, more games on Fox. Let's put some more games on. Yes. Let's put some games that people can watch on normal channels. Please, God. Apple, are you okay with that? Yeah, fine. Go ahead. Do it. Go ahead. Do it. So putting it behind a paywall this early before actually establishing like dominance, like to the point where, hey, we got them by the balls. They got no other choice. They got to come watch it on Apple TV because we got them hooked. You set the hook, you get them hooked, then you do that. Then you put it behind a paywall. You don't put them on a paywall when you haven't even casted yet into the stream. You got to do that after you got people on the hook, not before you even got the reel out and put it into the stream. right? So you got your rod and reel. You got to catch the fish first before, you can basically blackmail them into signing up for a paywall, a double paywall, by the way, too. Because you need Apple TV and then you need an MLS subscription. It's not like you sign up for Apple TV and it's part of the subscription. No,
you can get the MLS Pass by itself, but if you get Apple TV and the MLS Pass, you save a significant amount of money on the MLS Pass. But that's assuming that there's content on Apple TV you want to watch too. But still, it's by itself. What is it like 12, $14 a month or whatever? It's like $100 for the year by itself.
Yep.
Something along those lines.
You just don't do that at this point in the growing evolution of the sport. You wait. Then I get it. They got lots of money for the deal. I get it. And MLS is all about making money, not about the evolution of the game and the spread of the game's popularity. It's about making money fucking right now. Now. Not tomorrow, not 3 years from now. Make the money now. But then if everybody stops watching because you took the short-term outlook, now you fucked yourself because there are less eyeballs. My brother used to watch MLS when it was on normal ESPN and Fox. He used to watch the games. Nothing else was on. Oh, no sports on today. Oh, look, an MLS game. I'm going to watch that instead. Yeah. Now, he asked me, he called me this a long time ago and said, what the fuck's going on? I don't ever see MLS on TV anymore. I'm like, yeah, you got to get Apple TV. He's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. What are they
Or thinking? As Thomas brings up here, he doesn't get MLS season pass unless T-Mobile gives it to him for free.
Yep. You're fucking your own asshole. Yeah. I mean, great, you got a long enough dick to do that, but honestly, it's got to hurt because you got to bend it to get there.
Yep, exactly.
All right, you got any?
At step one again, a year away from the World Cup that we are hosting. I would have thought 3 or 4 years ago that this would be one of the most exciting times to be a soccer fan. And it has felt so much like the opposite, where there is so much apathy, even within the community. Every single Reddit thread that I read is just
that's a problem
negative
already.
Energy with pessimism. And rightly so, they're talking about fees and ticket sales and how much it costs so that you can't take your family to games, so you can't buy MLS Pass, so that you can't buy HBO Max, so that you can't go to the Club World Cup, so that you need to pay $80 extra 3 years ahead of time so you can get in line for a chance to buy World Cup tickets.
He's all got all that right.
Yeah, 100%.
Got it all right.
There's just too much shit to wade through.
Yeah,
frankly.
I mean, you're putting up too many barriers in so many different ways. Oh, I got to climb over that wall. Oh, now I got to climb over that wall. How many walls do I get to climb over before I just say to myself, fuck this shit? You should be coming after me and making it easy. I shouldn't have to be fiddle fucking with all these walls and all these barriers to getting involved. After a while, I get insulted because the product on the field for US men's soccer is not worth that battle. You got to make it super easy for me, not the other way around, because you haven't earned making it hard for me. You haven't made your product so fucking great and undeniable that I'm going to do that. And that is absolutely spot on from Jake. A lot of people have been complaining about the prices. Why are we making this harder? Make it easier. And by the way, U.S. Soccer, quit being corporate fuckholes. Start talking to us like we're real people. Start actually engaging with as if we were real people and you cared about us. That authenticity would go a long way. And say what you will about Galati and his people before this. But at least they showed some semblance of giving a shit. And we all know how corrupt all that shit was.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I didn't feel like I was being talked to like a child with Galati. I really didn't. I felt he was wrong and he did this wrong or he did that wrong or I didn't agree with this or I didn't agree with that. But I never felt like I was treated like a child. And the whole notion that you're going to bring all these influencers, soccer influencers, to Austin to win them over, which is what they tried a couple years ago, and a lot of guys went. We were invited. We did not go. And it just sounds like all of them got treated like children. That's not how this should work. And I'm glad we didn't go. You know, in the end, I'm glad because I didn't need that talk. I didn't need to have a lecture about how I'm too hard on the team.
Derek, let's be frank. If the lecture came, I feel like we would have been one of the few that actually would have voiced out. Like, I got hit. I'm 40. You're in your 50s. I don't need to be sitting here this right now. You know, I'm glad you guys flew me out here and everything like that, but I gotta go do some coverage about how poorly we're being treated here.
They did give Tact and Pete girls shirts.
The women jersey, they had a bunch left over. Yeah.
They gave them women's.
We got rid of this shit.
I mean, Pete and Tackle both fit into those. We got no chance of that happening. We're big. We're both larger mammals.
It would legit look like a bra on us, right? Just like snug up.
Oh,
here.
Absolutely.
Just above the last couple ribs.
Yes. We would look absurd in those. All right. Is there more here?
There's two more timestamps.
Okay.
9:32.
For the least amount of work. So we get to a point now where we're not really talking about an outcome or a realistic fix for all of this, but there has to be something to be said about engagement, visibility, and growth of the game. And maybe it's just literally me being older and not being able to see what the younger generation is seeing. If you are less than 25 years old watching this video, I'd love to hear your perspective right now on how you're being a fan and how you're engaging with the team.
So basically, with all the streaming services we have with soccer and stuff like that, and how much you have to pay for this, and the paying $80 just to hope to get a World Cup ticket, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's saying, well, it's maybe because I'm older, but I don't think the younger people are seeing it either. I think that's the problem, right? I think the younger people are looking at this going like, "Why the fuck am I watching this? Why am I paying for this?"
Yeah,
they're going in the wrong direction.
Shouldn't they be recruiting me to be a fan? Why am I, if I want to be a fan, having to jump through so many hoops to become one or get interested in this sport, this U.S. men's national team? Why is it so difficult for me? You're making it so hard that my brother hasn't watched a U.S. men's national team game now for a year. Because it's not on normal TV anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't watch MLS anymore. He used to watch MLS. He's not going to watch that. He's not going the paywall route. He's a casual. He's interested. He's a USA guy. He wants U.S. men's national team to do well. But he ain't chasing it. And you're making everyone chase it. From the casuals down to the diehards. Everybody got to chase it now. It shouldn't be about us chasing it. You should be open and welcome and embracing and making it as easy as possible for us to be fans, especially when the team is where it is at now, the low point. It hasn't been this low since we didn't qualify for the World Cup before the last one. That's when shit got low. But we didn't give up hope. A lot of us said, okay, fluke, we're going to qualify for the next one. We did. Then you're thinking something would happen. And then this team, as Herc always says, is not likable because there's no standout personalities outside of McKennie on this team, but McKennie's not the public voice of this team. So you do have a guy who could be likable, but he's not the guy with the mic. That's Pulisic is at the mic. Okay? Tim Ream's at the mic. I like Tim Ream, but he ain't going to be winning anybody over at a mic. I just don't think there's enough personality on this team either. That hurts. There are too many nice guys on this team. Musa, Pulisic, nice guys. Sargent, nice guy. All nice guys. Where's our fucking Ibrahimovic-like character who's so emboldened by his own abilities? He's allowed to be a little bit cocky and confident. We had that in Hoppy, but then Hoppy just did a floppy.
Fizzle
right?
fucked, yeah.
He fizzle fucked away. Hoppy had that kind of character, that self-belief. Didn't lead to much. Sonderjiski. See where he ends up next. Luna, tough guy, bulldog. Not sure he's going to go on TV and give you an esprit de corps lecture. But I don't know. We'll see. He's the kind of guy that got bloodied in the face, a la Brian McBride, broken nose, and said, fuck it, put me back out in the field, coach. That endears you to people. But we got to have more than one Luna. It's got to be other guys.
Yeah.
You know, got to be other people where you're like, I just love that guy. Miljevic could have been one of those guys. I'm surprised he didn't make the team.
I'm really surprised that he's playing well. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't really been got another look at this point.
Yeah, because he brings that arrogance.
So yeah, we talk about the ticket prices, and we're playing in these MLS stadiums that are roughly 20,000 seat stadiums. Maybe some of them are a couple bigger, but I just don't understand the concept of trying to grow the fan base, because you outprice a lot of people from wanting to go to see the team. Plus, the team's been sucking. That also affects it too. And we're playing the same teams over and over again. That affects it too.
Yes.
But why?
Boring.
Why? I mean, obviously, you don't have to worry about this in Mexico, because whatever stadium you go with Mexico, it's practically going to sell out, if not sell out. But if you're going to continue playing, the Jamaicas, the Panamas, the same team, Canada's, all over and over again, why not, instead of trying to sell high ticket prices in an MLS stadium, why not go ahead and get an NFL stadium? You still have your normal ticket prices. Why not? But then up in the nosebleeds, the quote unquote nosebleeds, you reach out to all the local clubs within a 30-minute radius of the stadium. You say, hey, we're going to offer you $5 tickets.
Bring your family.
Family of 5, that's $25 to come watch US play Canada for the 500th time this year.
But they're not worried about that. They already know they're going to sell out that stadium because Mexico's playing right after the U.S. is done playing. And that'll sell out the stadium. So fuck it.
Well, we can't share a stadium with the same term like the Nations League did and all that shit. That can't happen. I'm talking about the Switzerland game, or the who else are we playing coming up here? Switzerland and
Turkey.
Thank you. Turkey. But why not aim to sell out a stadium of a larger stadium just at lower ticket prices?
I will also
try to encourage people to start caring about the team again.
I will also say this. All of the federations who accepted FIFA's Nations League bullshit, we are all getting fucked here in the CONCACAF for that. There are no windows left to go play other teams outside of CONCACAF. We are going to, if this continues, be doomed for 95% of our games playing Panama, Mexico, and
Canada,
Jamaica, over and over and over and over again. The whole concoction of Nations League was, oh, well, we'll create a tiered system to allow teams to rise so they play better competition locally in their fucking confederations. The only guys that benefit from that, you stupid knuckleheads, is Europe. That's it. Because they're the best. South America said, fuck Nations League. They didn't even do it. Africa said, fuck Nations League. We're not doing that. So the fact that we embrace Nations League, and we did it here in CONCACAF, we're just self-fucked ourselves. We need to cancel Nations League, keep the Gold Cup, cancel, get out of Nations League, end it, and then go play the best African teams and the best South American teams in the open windows when we got a chance with friendlies. We cannot be doomed going forward to playing CONCACAF teams from here until the end of time. This is a complete disaster. All we do is play CONCACAF teams now. Yeah, okay, we got 2 good friendlies coming up, but how? It's so rare.
Well, I mean, we can thank the World Cup for that. I think all of the upcoming windows where we're going to be playing the better teams, we can thank the World Cup for that because we didn't have this last cycle. BMR mentions that individual confederations run their own Nations League. So he said that wasn't a FIFA thing. So UEFA started it, and we jumped on board.
Well, we're idiots.
Our thought process really, I mean, this is what they at least said, is our thought process is this is going to make our confederation stronger because they're going to get, the lower teams are going to get more meaningful matches against stronger opposition than what they were getting in the past. And
is that really
rising
true?
Tide raises all boats.
Is that really true? Since it's broken down into tiers of A, you got A, B, C, D. I mean, fucking Barbados is still playing Grenada.
Yeah.
Are they really benefiting from that because they're trapped 4 tiers down or 3 tiers down or what other fuck? It's a general statement I'm making. Is this really that beneficial to them? Is this really, helping them out? No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. All it's doing is dooming Mexico, United States, Canada, Costa Rica, Panama, just to play themselves. From here going out to the end of fucking time. Even when we aren't the hosts and don't have to be involved in qualifying. It's doomed us to that from the better part of every season.
Forbid we have to actually qualify for World Cup. We're just adding more games against the same opposition.
Yes. And it's ridiculous. Think of the Klinsmann era. And we took trips to Europe and played a handful of teams. And did a whole tour of Europe. Played 3 games. We can't do that anymore because of fucking Nations League. Because of UEFA, if that's a UEFA thing. Is that what we're saying? Nations League?
Well, UEFA started the Nations League. So they're like, hey, we're going to do this UEFA Nations League where we have this tiered league system with our national teams. And CONCACAF looked at it and goes, oh, we can do that. That's more money. We can keep within our coffers.
But nobody else did it.
Yeah.
But the other problem is that during the windows, a lot of the time, they're obviously they're qualifiers. So,
as BMR mentioned, that CONMEBOL has no free time to do anything like that, anyways.
Yes, because
and I imagine Asian, I imagine Africa's the same way too.
Qualifying.
Yeah.
But there was a time and place back in the old days. Bob Bradley could do a European tour. Klinsmann could do a European tour, play 3 European teams away from home. But I think we're not going to see much of that going forward. So you have a last comment from Jake?
Yep, last bit here.
Or feel it either. Now, I think it is probably going to revert back to something that needs to be community driven, that needs to be built, whether it's through supporters groups or other online forums or other online places. But there needs to be a place where we can all come back together and talk about this beautiful game and the amazing team that we love. I am hopeful that.
I don't think there's going to be a place. I think there are just a lot of places now, and people pick the communities they want to get involved in, and they'll go on Reddit and go, no, that's not for me. They'll go to Twitter and go, oh, that is for me. Or they'll go somewhere else and say, oh, I love big soccer. But
or you go to Reddit and they kick you out of Reddit.
There's that.
So you get community banned because you have a different take, or you bring up something that they say is a no-no.
I mean, I'm glad he's hopeful. We're a year out from the World Cup. I don't think a lot's changing from here on out. The only thing that's going to make a difference and get people talking about the U.S. men's national team in a positive way here going forward and building momentum is if we actually go out and start winning games and looking impressive and maybe not play behind paywalls so people can watch the game. Like, wouldn't it be great if the U.S., I don't know, is the Gold Cup on Fox this year like it's been in the past?
I don't know. I have to look that up.
I hope it is. I hope it's not behind a paywall. I hope it's You know, you don't have to go to HBO Max to watch it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I mean, you go and look through my feed, and you're gonna have people. I've got a feed of people who are constantly disagreeing with each other. My feed's not a circle jerk of my opinions. So that, and quite frankly, that's an established community, because there's no community around the world that takes sports out of the equation. It's never a kumbaya. Community is people who have varying opinions on the matter.
Mm-hmm.
You get along with them, you don't get along with them, you debate, you argue, you fight. Not necessarily physically fighting, but sometimes in the end. But this idea of that there's going to be this like location where we have a kumbaya session where we can talk about the sport. It's never happened. It's never going to happen.
Correct.
There are going to be people who disagree. There's going to be some people who are just vulgar. We're vulgar.
Yep.
So it's something that's never going to happen. So I'm not sure why we're expecting it to happen.
It's never happened. He had this fairy tale world he was in before where, oh yeah, I could talk to the players. Yeah, I could too. I get it. That was a nice time. But it's long over. And by the way, just because we could actually contact and talk to the players through social media before doesn't mean it wasn't ugly all over the place elsewhere. Big soccer, been ugly for a long time. Long time. Going back 15 years, 10 years, somewhere around there. It's been ugly. A lot of disagreement. I don't think that's ever going to change. I think what needs to change is the fact that people are going to say stupid shit. They're going to disagree with you. They're going to call you things like retarded, like we've already been called in the chat today. And you just got to go, I don't give a shit. I'll live with that. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over any of that. So anyhow, that's where we're at, folks. It's not any better or worse. Like, I think it's the same nastiness. The only difference is the team sucks.
Yeah.
The team is not something that gives us any encouragement. If the team starts winning and we start kicking ass, people will start caring.
Isn't that the funny thing though? Is the idea of that there was once a collective of the community that we could all get together and have this discussion really stems on how well the team's playing.
Yes,
quite frankly, because when the team's playing poorly, you know, the negative thoughts really start coming out more. And I have no problem with people having negative thoughts about a team that's playing poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to wish death threats or anything like that, but if you want to say, dude, this guy fucking sucked this window, that's perfectly fine, and you're right to do so.
I'll get to the damn Tack took shots from Jake. Ain't no way. I don't think Tack cares. Like,
it's definitely a one-sided feud.
Like 100 people watched that video 8 hours after it came out.
It's at 1,000 right now. He's boosted. It's boosted.
It's 1,000 now. But I do think that was ridiculous. I don't think you need to take a shot at Tact. I think whether you like Tact or not is beyond the point. The point is that he's been involved in this conversation. He's still involved and doesn't need to be. Everybody that's doing this is doing it because they're passionate about the U.S. men's national team, because they have been for most of their lives. And they're not giving it up yet just because things are looking sour. Things have looked sour before. The end of the 1998 World Cup looked bad. We were bad. Not qualifying for a World Cup, that was bad. We've been here before. We've been at low points before. So we'll get past this. It looks bad now. It looks shaky. We don't know who to trust. I think a lot of people lost trust in Poach. So they've lost trust in the team. And if they can turn that around and make us believers again, I think you'll see people back on talking about the sport again. I think that's all that needs to happen. Because it's never going to be kumbaya. It never has been, to your point. Never has been. On Big Soccer, we were there for years, guys. Never was kumbaya. It was a community. It was a big community at one point, very large, but never kumbaya.
Well, we talk about Big Soccer a lot, but I bring up the Sports Sports Illustrated boards that we actually met on.
Yeah.
And that was a group of anywhere between 20 and 30 people consistently
every day
that would go on there and just bicker back and forth at each other. But it was a close knit group of bickering.
We came here brothers, honestly. We were like a family until we left, right? All of us left Sports Illustrated, and we went to whatever. I think it was Facebook, formed our group. A lot of people dropped out then.
Yeah.
And then we also had a group of sports journalists that we put together for a while on Facebook. And that was all going fine until a couple of them hated each other and were going at it. I can't remember who they were. Bill, right? You remember?
Yeah, I mean Archer.
Bill Archer and
Dan Loney.
Dan was on there. A lot of journalists on there. And who was the one? Cohen. Bill Archer and Cohen. Stephen Cohen hated each other. And their arguments were so vitriolic, the rest of us were like kind of, I don't know if you were in that group. Were you in that group too?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been so long. I mean, yes, I was in the group, but it's been so long.
And it was just like uncomfortable. The rest of us were uncomfortable. And eventually that group of journalism group, a lot of people you guys would know were in there. We had to, because the point is, it's always been vitriolic. There's always been disagreement. It's not ending. The point is that this team needs to be better and more people will give a shit. Once the team shows that they give a shit, then the fans will come back and give a shit too. And they're going to still argue with each other and they're still going to disagree. We're still going to have, Aguimon's the best next thing. That was on here today on Twitter. You're like,
I saw that too, man.
Is he really?
He's the best. He's the best number 9 we have.
Really? I guess you don't know about Balogun. I think he's pretty good too. Anyhow, I guess you haven't heard of Brian White, who's outscoring all American strikers in MLS. Anyhow, did you get along with Grant Waller? Yes, we did.
He was on our show.
Yep, he was on our show. We got along with him good. I stayed in contact with him for a good long while until we canceled our show on Big Soccer. Grant was a great guy. We disagreed too.
We definitely had some disagreements, yeah.
But Grant was he was the sweetest, tenderest dude you'll ever know. And one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, who he came on basically to, I think, refute Bill Archer's article, because we had Bill on and then we had Grant Wall on to refute Bill's article. And we were friends. We had Bill on when we made our comeback. So we stay in touch with these guys. Bill Archer in retirement now. One of the best soccer journalists ever on Big Soccer. All right. Hey, guys. Thank you for your show. Y'all helped me get through tough parts of my life. I appreciate that. And I have not seen you up here before. So thank you for watching the show.
He's on here. He's on every now and then.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't really always follow the chat. I'm doing my thing. But hey, for the 450 of you that were here at one point, thank you for coming out on Thursday. This is crazy. It's great. Don't give up yet. Don't give up. This could turn around. This could maybe get better. I don't know. Maybe if it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it gets worse. I hope not.
The optimistic in me realizes that it'll get better. It'll get better, guys.
Yeah. Did Derek get along with Brett? We've always gotten along.
You know the funny, and we've mentioned this before, but Derek was the one who came to me and said, "Hey, let's do a podcast."
Yeah.
And I go, I'll do the podcast with you until you can find somebody else to do it with you. But I have no intention on wanting to do a podcast.
Yes.
So this almost never happened, guys.
No, and you weren't the first one I asked. I'm just being honest there. But you were the only one that had the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody else chicken shitted.
Yeah.
In our group of friends. They all chicken shitted. I'm like, well, there's only 2 other people I asked. One of them,
stick it back in front of me. I'll talk. Whatever.
One was the big Italian guy, right? Who created his own sites, and he created
yes, I can't remember his name.
Beyond the Pitch.
Yes, thank you.
So that was going to be my original coast, was the guy who founded Beyond the Pitch. And he said, no, I'm too busy doing Beyond the Pitch. And then there was the guy in Arizona, and he's like, no, my voice sounds horrible. And then I'm like, well, you know what? Brett's really smart. Let me ask Brett. Yeah. Brett was the first one to have the gumption to say, hell yeah, I could do that. No problem.
Why not?
I could do it. Let's do it. Like, he had no qualms. He had the confidence. He wasn't worried about his Kermit-like voice or anything like that. So if I go back, those times were crazy, putting together that show. And then eventually, Big Soccer wanted us and we stayed. So that's how it all worked out in the end. All right. For those of you who came out tonight, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a great upcoming weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Might be some news to break there. We'll see. We love you. And until then, hasta la vista.
That hurt.
I want to play in Europe. What the hell does that mean, right? Because Europe could be Latvia, Luxembourg.
No one's talking about Latvia or Luxembourg, dumbass.
So you don't want to just shove it in there. Start with the smaller finger, especially if this is the first time. Start with the smaller finger and go slow.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to change.
Honey, eating it is the best thing that you can do for your man.
I want people to realize I'm just human. I'm just human, and I make mistakes.
So this guy, Derek, wants to know, is putting your tongue in an ass really the thing to do?
Yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, it's a weird one, I think.
And I know you want me to toss your salad too, don't you? All right.